one last time. I can feel that power in my head as beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
We're at the O2 for the grand finale of the British basketball season. We've got the WBBL and the BBL playoff finals coming your way. 4 great teams, 2 major trophies on the line, and no shortage of thrills and spills.
The WBBL's top 2, London Lions and Sevenoaks Suns, going head-to-head for the playoff title. The Lions aiming for a domestic clean sweep.
This could be a defining moment in women's basketball.
Win on 3. 1, 2, 3, win!
Suns are used to winning. You know, they've got a winning coach, winning players. No, it's going to be a very exciting game.
Hey, let's go, White! Let's go!
People cheer for great basketball, and that's been the London Lions women's team this whole year.
The Leicester Riders will play the London Lions in the season finale.
This is not just another game.
Jackson drives hard, scores,
This is when the lights are the brightest. Previous form is irrelevant. Can you get the job done today?
Oh, Doug Williams with the throwdown. Are you not entertained?
Thousands of basketball fans are expected today to enjoy the action this afternoon at this terrific venue, where over the course of the next few hours, both the men's and women's playoff champions will be crowned. And the hometown Lions have got a shot at both titles. 2 great games in store, starting later on, with the League and Cup champions, the Leicester Riders, squaring off against an all-star London side. They are still in search of their first silverware of the season, would you believe? Tip things off, though, with the undisputed queens of the women's game. The London Lions chasing a clean sweep of domestic titles up against their closest rivals, the Sevenoaks Suns. A very good afternoon to you. Good to have you with us. 2 intriguing finals in store. Expecting a packed house here at the O2. A dunk contest as well, and plenty of BBL legends on hand to guide us through, including Siobhan Pryor and Kieran Achara. Great to see you both. Kieran, in terms of British basketball, it doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Definitely not. This is what it's all about. I'm actually a little bit jealous. I never got to play in this big stage, but I'm soaking it all in right now. We're getting set up. Can't wait to get started.
Now, Sean, you have played on a stage like this. So describe the feeling. Here we are, minutes before tip-off in a game like this. What's going through your mind as a player?
I think minutes before you're just trying to focus on the game, but I think it does go through your head. It's a privilege to be one of the last teams to play the very last game of the season. It can only be 2, but especially in an iconic arena like this was always my favourite place to play.
How does preparation differ when you're playing in front of 15,000 plus fans on a court like this as opposed to a typical game?
I think you have to try and control your preparation as much as you can, as you would always. The difficulty with big events like this, though, is you're running on other people's time schedules. There's so much going on, so much goes into the production of a game like this. It can be a little distracting and it can throw your routines off. So the more you do it, though, the more finals you're in, the easier it becomes.
Our first game this afternoon is the WBBL playoff final between the London Lions and the Sevenoaks Suns. The London Lions, Kieran, domestically unbeaten. What an extraordinary season they've had.
They have been exceptional to watch. They've led from the front right of the beginning. Some great, veteran leaders, some young, fresh blood coming into the mix. But they really have been a great team. What's really impressed me is how focused they've been. Even when they've been winning games big, a lot of games big, playing in Europe, they've found a way to stay focused and think about the next game, and that's what's made them really impressive.
And you mentioned Europe, of course. They've had success there as well. They're really blazing a trail, not just for the women's game, but for British basketball. And
that's what it's all about. We always talk about putting British basketball on the map. London Lions have definitely done that. People are now taking notice, and long may it continue.
How exceptional is it they've been unbeaten domestically, particularly as they've had a European campaign to contend with?
Yeah, it's, It's been done before, but not when you're getting on a plane, to Europe, trying to play. Their focuses have been in so many different places, but like Kieran said, they've managed to focus on the next game in front of them, and that is what made them so special. It's a big feat.
The next game in front of them is the Sevenoaks Suns, of course, a team that are no strangers to success themselves, but very much the runners-up this season so far on every count. But can they today do what no other WBBL team has managed to do this season and beat the Lions?
I mean, we were talking about this earlier. They've been here 3 times before. At the O2 playoff final, they've won 3 times before. So if any team is going to do it, if any team's going to beat London, then it will be Sevenoaks. But it's going to be difficult. I think they've had sort of not a great run into the final, but they'll be looking to change that today, I think.
And the men's final, the London Lions in action there as well against the Leicester Riders, the champs, the cup winners, so they're gunning for a treble. The Lions an all-star side, but they've been underperforming by their high standards this season, gunning for their first silverware of the season. But are they timing their run just right, Kieran?
Exactly what you're saying. They are timing their run to perfection. I think they really struggled, a little bit different from the women's team. I think they really struggled balancing both the domestic and the European competition this year. But they've clicked at the right moment. They've got players back. They're healthy, playing with a bounce in their step, and they're playing in London at the big stage. What a way to kind of finish on top.
You were telling me earlier on you have no idea which way that final's going to go, and we're going to drill down into that a little bit later on. We've got a big crew here at the O2 this afternoon, including 2 men who've been there, done it, and have got the playoff winning medals. A very good afternoon to Drew Lasker and Mike Tuck. Good to see you, fellas. Mike, let's get straight to it. Describe the feeling to win it all on a stage like this.
Oh, there's no better feeling. This is my first time back in the building since 2016 when we won it. And, it's the last game of the season. There's only one winner. It's on the biggest stage, the biggest platform here at the O2. It's exciting.
Drew, I know you're desperate for us to show footage of the Eagles winning the playoffs last season once again, because we've only shown it about 15 or 16 times this season. It was a special moment for you, of course, but under very different circumstances because of COVID. It was closed doors. So how different is this afternoon going to be with all the fans packed in watching it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing experience, but it wasn't the O2 and it wasn't in front of fans. We're expecting 16,000 plus in here and who's who in the crowd. And Mike knows, and this is what we live for.
You both played for so long at the highest level, but what is the difference about games like this, other than the obvious pressure, just in terms of the experience on court when you're playing in an arena of this size, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, this is what you work for all season, and everything accumulates into these moments, right? So there's going to be a huge crowd here. There's going to be a lot of pressure, but it's how you manage that pressure, the experience on the team, the culture of the team. All those little things will come together and help you on the day.
Drew, the WBBL playoff final kicks us off, and the London Lions, as we've just been talking about, having an exceptional season, unbeaten domestically, blazing a trail in Europe. Just how inspirational is this team for a whole generation of young players watching them right now?
Yeah, I said it last week that they will be an inspiration to little girls watching, but I need to take that a step further. Little boys, everybody that will be tuning in. So they've shown excellence throughout this whole season, and what they've done is unprecedented for women's basketball, and they are inspiring the entire country.
Men's final follows, of course. Mike, I know you would have loved your Sharks to be there. You came close, and congratulations on a great season, but it was not to be. The Lions and the Riders making it through. We've been talking about the Lions timing their run just right, because they've been, well, Jekyll and Hyde for a lot of the season. No doubt about their talent, but at some points in the year they flattered to deceive. But it's going to be game on this afternoon, isn't it?
100%. It's been a different season for them. Obviously playing in Europe, coaching changes, injuries, but like you said, I think they're really coming together at the right moment, at the right time, and here matched up against a very tough Riders team. It's whoever comes out on the day here will take away the prize.
Now, you're going to be on hand a little bit later on, Mike, for the dunk contest. I know you love a dunk contest. For those watching who have never experienced one before, what have they got to look forward to?
Well, our format's a little bit different today. We actually have 3 professional dunkers here today, so these guys do it for a living. I had a quick chat with a few of them before. They're super excited, describing their styles as monstrous and flying. So a lot of high-flying action going to be coming at you later this afternoon.
Looking forward to that. Brilliant stuff. We'll be checking in with both Mike and Drew a bit later on. Kieran, are you thinking last-minute entry for the dunk contest? I mean,
I actually got asked to, but they said no. Duty's here today.
Oh right,
a lot
really?
of up and
Is
down.
that why?
Get my
Otherwise,
steps, and I'm just going to stick solely in the studio.
Oh, that's magnanimous of you. Let's start to key in on our first game this afternoon, which incidentally has been delayed. The WBBL playoff final tip has been delayed by 30 minutes time. You will of course catch all the action right here on Sky Sports, and hey, it gives us plenty more time to build up to the big game. So let's look at what both teams are aiming for today, the context of becoming the playoff champions. London, well, they're the defending champs of course, but as we referenced a little bit earlier on, Sevenoaks have got some strong history in this competition, winning the title 3 years in a row pre-COVID. So they may be the underdogs this afternoon, but they are most certainly not going to be fazed by the occasion. In terms of the route to the final, the Suns had a tougher time of it, battling through against Siobhan's Nottingham side in the semis. London found it much easier going, cruising past Caledonia Pride in the end. So we've got the top 2 seeds in the WBBL squaring off in the final today. And just to put this in context, Sevenoaks won 21 of their 24 games to finish runners-up to the Lions. As we said, the London side going through the season unbeaten in the league and unbeaten across the board domestically to be crowned champs. So let's put it in perspective. We've just seen a roll of honor. We've just seen some great teams that have landed this title in the past. Put this London side and what they've achieved so far into perspective and into context.
Putting it into perspective is hard, but I think one of the things that's really interesting is that if you were to ask them, they've only just started building, really. For a long, long time, they were never on this stage. You know, they didn't win a lot of games, and it's only been this season and, you know, last season, for a little bit towards the end of the season, when they started to build this dynasty. So, in a way, it's kind of new, but it's so exciting to see where it can go.
We saw their silverware, their first silverware of last season, which very much acted as a catalyst, didn't it? That allowed this team to gain belief that they could go on. Did you expect them, though, to achieve the heights that they have this season?
Yes and no. I didn't expect them to be as consistent as they've been. You know, I thought they would slip a couple, you know, take their foot off the pedal at some moments, but they haven't done that. They have got stronger and stronger as the seasons progress, and it's a scary thing to see what level they can actually get to.
Let's have a look in detail at what the Lions have managed to achieve in such a small, relatively speaking, passage of time, because this season, of course, they have rolled everyone over in terms of domestic honours, going for the clean sweep this afternoon. And it began with the WBBL trophy, the Lions' first ever title, would you believe? And look at this run ever since. Playoff champions last season, terrific success in Europe. Then they landed the cup, the trophy, and the championship as well. So the question, Siobhan, is how have they done it? In terms of the roster that they've assembled, it's a really intriguing mix of seasoned vets, some brilliantly talented players that have played all across Europe, and emerging young talent.
I think how they've done it is they've led on Joe, Leedon Warner, and Azania Stewart. They've got exciting young players in Kennedy, Leonard, Holly Winterburn. And then they've got players like Cassie Breen, who leads the team in scoring, but she doesn't need a lot of accolades. She's okay doing what she does for the team, and she's just happy to win. And those players are really hard to come by. So the way they've done it is just in every single position, from 1 to 12, they know their roles and they play their roles and they take pride in their roles, I think.
Do you think this is maybe the most talented roster you've seen in the WBBL?
I wouldn't say it's, you know, your all-star sort of ever roster. I could pick some of the players that I'd like to put into it, but across the board, it's definitely the strongest we've ever seen. If
they started to pick some of the best players from other teams and put them into the line, so that wouldn't be a fair fight at all, would it? In terms of that experience, Kieran, and the importance of younger players developing with players that have not just won and have a winning mentality, but also have those street smarts of playing for so long. Talk us through why that is such an important part of a young player's development.
Well, we always talk about being a product of your environment, and when you're in a situation when, you know, high standards are always met, you just start to do them. You know, it becomes second instinct. You know, so it's learning those good habits, which the players at the Lions have been able to get that. They get to look at their veteran leaders who are the hardest working people there, and they strive to be those players. So I think they had an opportunity to pick up really good habits, play and learn, and the older players are willing to give their information and help them grow to be the players that they need to be. So I think it's a great mix of having great veteran leadership, but also the environment's being created for you. The only way is to improve.
We've heard this week, in fact, from Joe Lieden-Warner, Azania as well has made a similar point, that this is such a special part of their career. For everything that they've achieved, coming to this Lions side, watching the team and the collective develop has been particularly special for them.
It has. I've spoken to them, intermittently throughout the season. I think, to be honest, in the beginning, they just didn't ever think it would be something they would be able to do. Azania's home. This is where she lives. This is where her family are from. Joe, Ellesmere Port, but she's from England. They didn't ever think they would be able to do this together, and I think that's what makes it so special, that they can do that and that they can do it together. They've been long-time teammates for GB as well, and I think they're at the end. They're coming towards the end of their careers, and it's something really special for them to be able to do that in their home country. Well,
Joe Lieden-Warner has had a terrific season. She was named the WBBL Player of the Year. Incidentally, 4 of the 5 WBBL Team of the Year made up of London Lions. So Joe winning Player of the Year and Mark Clark winning Coach of the Year. A little bit earlier on, Drew caught up with both of them.
Very experienced, very knowledgeable coach.
Incredible, that's your star player. And that's what superstars can do.
Joe, congrats on capturing the Player of the Year award. What's your thoughts on what's been an unbelievable season?
Thank you so much. It's hard to kind of explain it and wrap it all up right now, but I'm just so happy to be here, but I'm also just kind of focused on the moment and not really worrying about anything else.
And what's the mindset of the team coming into this final?
It's to win the game today, to play our level of basketball, to play the highest level that we possibly can, and to finish the job properly.
And what would success over the Suns mean to you all?
It would mean everything. To finish the season on a win and to wrap everything up perfectly how we want, it would just mean everything.
Mark, congratulations on the Coach of the Year award. Your thoughts on what's been a great season?
The thing about the season is that as a group we've grown tremendously with the expectation level, the aspiration level. So as a first year of us really moving the program forward, it's been a great experience, and I couldn't be the Coach of the Year without the team and the people around me. That's a cliche, but it's true.
And how are you approaching this game? A big stage, of course, but is it business as usual?
Well, business as usual for us is we set our own standards. So, yeah, from that perspective. But we're going to be playing an opponent that we've beaten 4 times, an opponent that actually is going to come out here and try and put the record straight a little bit, and is used to winning. So we're expecting a tough one.
A clean sweep of titles would be a first in this women's game. What would it mean for the club?
Well, the club said it's all out, wants to be the best team in the country. We're winning today. We can say we're the best team in the country. That's a basis for us to move forward to. But I think the league, we need to use it as a league. If the bar gets raised, let's see other teams come up to that level.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Joe Lieden-Warner, as we talked about, such an influential figure in this Lions side. Kieran, talk us through the evolution of her as a player, because she's somebody that you've known for a long time. You're an Olympian alongside her back in 2012. Talk us through the journey she's had as a player.
It's interesting to see, because I met Jo back in the day when they had a training camp in Stirling in Scotland, so I actually got to meet them in that level. But at the same time, she's been, from that day, she's always been dedicated to her craft, and she doesn't accept losing. No, she is a complete winner, and for that, to still be able to do it at that level, she's got new motivations now. She's got a daughter. She's motivated to be the best version of herself, and not only that, push the sport forward for British basketball to make sure that every young person can play basketball at a high level.
Siobhan, talk about what she brings to the team on the court, because we talked about her experience, her leadership, everything that Kieran so eloquently described just then, but on the court, what does she bring?
I think on the court she's always been the same player, and she's managed to transition the way that she plays to any level that she's ever played at. She's the hardest worker on the floor. She's going to do all the little things. She's going to tip it to somebody else who'll get a steal. She's diving on the floor. She can score. If you look at her stat sheet at the end of a game, she's almost got a triple-double all the time. She is in the moment in every single play, and she doesn't take a play off.
As you were saying, diving on the floor, I was getting flashbacks to that extraordinary play in the trophy final, which, if you haven't, seek it out. It will be on YouTube, one of the most extraordinary basketball plays you'll ever see, let alone this season. So, a big veteran leadership in this Lions side. Azania Stewart very much front and centre there. Another 2012er as well. She's very much the defensive linchpin of this team, isn't she?
Yes, she has a lot. She's got great touch as well, but she's also brings a calmness. You know, she's got a personality, but the calmness that she plays with, it's infectious as well. You know, she keeps everyone grounded.
I can see she's taking a snap of both Drew and Mike there, who are doing their best blue steals, I think, for that particular shot. But it's interesting to watch her and I know the tip's been delayed a bit, but, you know, relative minutes before a huge game. Look how relaxed she is.
Yeah, she takes everything in her stride. You know, like Kieran said, she always has. It's just the person that she is. And it does bring a nice calmness to the team, but yeah, nothing phases her.
She was the Cup Final MVP, 100% from the floor she shot that afternoon, racking up 20 points. So how will Sevenoaks look to try and contain her today?
I mean, it has to be the job of Jamila Thompson. There isn't anyone that really can, you know, try to stop Azania. They don't have that size except for her. She has the size, she has the athleticism, and she's a good defensive player. I think, you know, she prides herself on that, so she's going to have a tough job ahead, but it's got to be her job.
Both big-time players. So, as she's proved this season, is Holly Winterburn at a different stage of her career as well. She's been in brilliant form all season long, even more so in the postseason. Shot 84% at 29 points in their semi-final win against Caledonia. Do you feel she's emerged this season in particular from bright young talent to a mainstay in this side?
I would say this is the most mature version of Holly we've ever seen. And it's just a joy to watch. I watched her growing up. I was lucky she was in my region, and I got to be around her and her family a lot. She's got, you know, high ambitions, high expectations of herself, and I think the ability that she has is now starting to marry with the consistency, really, of the fact that she can put that ability on the floor, and that's starting to happen in every single game. So I think that's where we see her maturity, and I think a lot of that, you know, is thanks to the relationships that she's got with Joe and Z. Yeah,
it's a great point. Those last few minutes of chat aren't disconnected with looking at the progression of Holly this season, Kieran.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, because I actually see Holly as, talk about being a young player. She's been in the league for so many years, right, that it could have been so easy to get complacent. You know, it's like she was having a lot of success from such a young age, but she's taken it to another level, and I think Joe Leadham Warner has really kind of helped her kind of push that forward, because she's taken their game to a whole new level.
Do you think she's got the potential to become an all-time great?
I believe she has the skill set, you know, but again, to get to that level, mindset, being able to stay in the moment, stay focused throughout the years, that's the hard thing to do, but she definitely has the potential to be able to do that.
Seeing her warming up alongside her head coach, let's talk about the mindset in this Lions locker room, because they're heavy favourites for today. I don't think anybody is under any illusion otherwise, and that means that they're certainly not going to underestimate Sevenoaks, because they're a dangerous side with some big-time players within themselves. But what will Mark Clark be saying? The team know they're on the verge of greatness. I mean, to run through the season unbeaten and to clean sweep the domestic titles is an extraordinary feat. So how will he be approaching the warm-up, the pre-game preparation, do you think?
I think he's just going to approach it like he approaches any game. We've talked about how Joe and Azania are the ones that keep everybody accountable for every single play in practice and in games, but it comes from the top, and that comes from Coach Mark Clark. He's not going to accept whether he's winning by 40 or whether he's winning by 5. He's not going to accept any less than the best that they can produce. And that's what he'll be focusing on today, just as he always does.
We all season long, Kieran, have talked about winning mentality. It's a phrase you hear in sport all the time. And when you talk to a coach and on the verge, on the eve, right before a game like this, they'll say typically the same thing. We take one game at a time. We're not going to underestimate anybody. When you've got, from a player's perspective, you're in a team like this, you're in a team made up of winners that's achieved so much. How do you, and I'm asking you as a veteran leader, how do you keep the focus and the mindset to do that? It's easy to say we're not going to underestimate anybody and we'll treat one game at a time. But how do you actually achieve that as a player?
It's funny because we always harp on about culture this, culture that, but actually it's the managing of people within that it creates the culture. Mark's really good at switching up and managing people, understanding what every player needs and wants. And I think for some of those veteran players, it's given them purpose. They've achieved so many things at different levels. Why is this important? Well, actually, you're thinking about the next generation and whatever. So he finds a way to tap into every individual within that team, and that brings that focus.
Well, this Lions side, certainly a formidable proposition. All three of the players you've seen, plus Kennedy Leonard, their point guard in the WBBL Team of the Year. So I think it's fair to say it is a tall task ahead of Sevenoaks this afternoon, but they have the firepower and the experience to put up a fight and maybe mount an upset as well. We're going to take a closer look at the Suns next. The experience on court when you're playing in a...
Be moving the program
through against Siobhan's Nottingham side, but it's going to be
Joe
describing their culture.
Welcome back to the WBBL and BBL playoff finals here at the O2. The women's final has been delayed by 30 minutes. We're building up to the Lions Suns. And it's going to be a fascinating final because the Lions, as we've just established, in remarkable form this season. But the Suns are an organization that are used to winning and have plenty of winners within their ranks. So, Kieran, how will they approach that uncharacteristic role of underdog today?
It must be hard, first and foremost. I've never been the one on top, so I don't know what it's like to then drop from that situation. But it must be a hard place to be in. But at the same time, they just have to embrace that. Like, they're here on the big stage. They've got where they need to be. They are the underdogs. Use that to their advantage. It takes a lot of pressure off. I think a lot of times people took way too much pressure on themselves. Obviously you want to keep your standards high, but at the same time, embrace it. You're here at the O2, a crowd on Sky Sports. Let's make the most of it, have fun, and see what happens.
Do you think, knowing a lot of these players that we're watching warming up now at Siobhan, that's exactly what that they will be doing? Or will there be a little bit of motivation, particularly with what we saw with the trophy final where they were blown away? Will they be putting that front and center in their minds as motivation? Will they be trying to lock it away and not want to think about that performance? How do you think they'll be approaching that?
I think you have to separate the event from what happened and the feelings that it gave to you. I think you can't ignore. I think the feelings that you get from losing a game like that are the thing that you need to carry with you. What happened, why it happened, different plays in the game, what the end score was. You can't think about those things, but for sure they will definitely be thinking about how they felt in the locker room afterwards, on the bus going home, and they will use that for motivation today.
And what about the narrative and the build-up to this game? As we've frankly established in the first 20 minutes of this show, this is an almost unbeatable Lions side. They're going to be very, very heavy favourites this afternoon. How will the side be discussing that? Will they be aware of that, conscious of that? Will they be using that for motivation today?
I think so. I mean, put yourself in their shoes. Everybody's saying you can't win. Everyone's saying, this is the team that is unbeatable. That would make me want to beat a team. So definitely using that for motivation as well. But also, I think, in the last game that they played, the last game of the season, they did lose by 14, but that isn't a bigger margin as they've lost before against this team. So it's something to build on, and I think they'll be remembering that as well.
We've got to put in context, as I referenced a bit earlier on, their league form, the defeats to London and one other notwithstanding, has been superb. In most other seasons, Kieran, we'd be looking at the league champions here.
Reminds me of Roger Black. I always used to think with Michael
Right,
Johnson.
right.
No, racing great races, getting personal best, but it was never enough, And from a Sevenoaks perspective right now, they're here. It's one game. You don't know what's going to happen. They are winners, though. They know how to win. That's going to play a big role in this.
They certainly demonstrated that in the semi-final, because it was a much closer game for them than the one that London had against Caledonia. And Nottingham, Siobhan, really gave them a run for their money.
Yeah, they did. And I think, this was coming off of a league win for Wildcats. They actually beat Sevenoaks just a couple of weeks before in the championship, so that might have been in the minds of the Suns there, but they did manage to pull it through, just that 2-point win. But they gave them a run for the money, Wildcats did.
They haven't been in particularly good form, the Suns, have they, in the last 4 or 5 weeks?
I think the important thing to say is that they've managed to win, and I think that's because they're used to winning, and there's a lot of veteran leadership on their team as well, but they have been scraping through. And for example, in the quarterfinal against Essex, for the first 3 quarters they were losing. It was only the final quarter that they managed, to get a lead and to build on a lead. Again, they managed to do that because they've got veteran leadership, but they can't afford to do that today.
Well, we're seeing the roster now as the players are warming up, and Kat Carr, Janice Monacana playing a final game in the WBBL this afternoon, so a very special day for her. They're right there, Kieran, 2 veteran leaders. So what will they be saying to the team around them? And winners as well, big game players too. How will they be getting their teammates ready for this?
Well, it depends on how they feel, how they get fueled. So that whole revenge factor could be a big facet in this. Is that they're going to use that chip on the shoulder, underdogs, we know what we can do, we believe in ourselves. How do we stay motivated, play to our strengths, and not stray away from the game plan? That's probably what the veteran leadership is going to add.
It's a sense that there's more pressure on the Lions in some way today, because everybody thinks they're going to win.
Yes, the Lions have played the whole season with that pressure, but they've been able to manage that pressure very, very well.
And that's something, I guess, that teams develop, and we've heard the players talk about that as well. When you are the team that everybody is gunning for, you are the big game of the season. Initially, that's quite a difficult thing to acclimatise to, but as you roll through and go through that pressure and win and win and win, it becomes more straightforward.
It becomes more straightforward, but I think with that it becomes more easy to be complacent, because you get so used to winning, you're going to get everybody's best, but you walk onto the court and you just don't envision losing. And I think, what London have done really well is managed to not stay complacent and to keep themselves accountable to the things that are going to help them to win.
There's Len Bush, the Sevenoaks head coach, talking to Mark Clark before the game. 2 very experienced coaches, of course, that have seen so much in their time. Speaking of experience, Kat Carr, one of the stars of the WBBL and a crucial player for Sevenoaks this afternoon if they are going to keep this one close. Well, Drew chatted to them both a little bit earlier on to get their perspective on the big game.
Coach, consistency has been a key factor for the Suns in recent years. How have you been able to maintain this level of excellence?
Quality players and sort of built a culture of each holding the others accountable. And, and it's focusing on a few basics. You know, we stress defense and doing things right, and we just keep pushing and hammering away at it.
And the Lions are unbeaten this year. How are you planning to end the streak?
Well, they're a terrific team. They're really deep, but we're a good team as well, and we've played them a number of times, and we just need to string together 4 quarters. Last time we played them, we were good for 3 quarters. We need to do 4.
What's the mentality throughout the team, and how have you prepared them for this moment?
Well, we just keep inching forward. You know, we got to be a little bit better. We got to be a little bit more disciplined. We've got to do it for a little bit longer. You know, and if it's enough, it'll be enough.
Kat, you've been chasing London all season. What's your thoughts on the rivalry?
I think it's great. I feel like there hasn't been a rivalry like this in quite some time. So I think it's really good. And I know most people want to see us play each other. So it's great that we both made it to the final.
And how can the Suns tame the Lions?
Playing a complete game of 40 minutes. You know, we've had our runs against them. And we just know that if, you know, we do a complete game, then we will come out on top.
How much will the Suns be relying on their big game experience?
I think we will be relying on it. You know, we've been here, we're experienced, and we have to, you know, pull that to make sure that we come out on top.
Thanks for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Kat Carr is the all-time leading scorer in the WBBL. Siobhan, what's made her one of the all-time greats?
She's very versatile. The only chink in her armor is probably a spot-up 3-point shooting, but she can hit a 3 as well, but she can score from anywhere on the floor. She can post you up. She can, you know, she's got a good mid-range. Yeah, she's just really versatile.
What would she hope to do differently in this final compared to, say, the trophy final where the Lions successfully kept her in check?
I think when her team's struggling, because I think what I envision is that the struggles will come on the offensive end. When their team's quiet and they're struggling to get a score, she needs to be the one that steps up for them, and I think she will want to take that responsibility on today.
Is that the key, Kieran, you think, for the Suns to keep this one competitive and to have a shot at winning it? Kat Clark's got to have an MVP-level day.
I think so, and also from a Kat Carr perspective, she's really good at getting to her spots. You know, that mid-range jump shot, she really likes that mid-range jump shot. Come back with a spin. So London Lions last time, they stopped her from getting to her spots, and she's usually really good at getting there. So if she wins that battle today, she's right in the mix, and that's again that calmness. You're making shots, taking shots that you know you're comfortable with, even if they're not going in. It brings that kind of calmness to the game.
How important do you think a fast start is for the Suns today? Because, look, inevitably, every team wants to start fast and certainly doesn't want the inverse of that and to be in a hole early on. But given the history this season, what happened in the trophy final, how key is it for their morale and their mindset that they keep it close early on today?
I think it's key for any team that's playing against London. You know, they're such a quality team that if you go down, they're going to hold the lead and build on the lead. So you can't go down early. You've got to come out right as the whistle goes. And I think it's really, really important that Sevenoaks do that today.
Let's look at Janice Monacana because, as I mentioned a moment ago, playing her final game this afternoon, what a way to go out. And she's a player, Kieran, that typically loves the big stage.
She loves the big stage, and it's the Hollywood story that you want. You know, she's already announced it to the world that she's stepping away from the game. Let's go away with a championship. What
do the Suns need from her in her last hurrah?
They need her to score. That's what she's really good at. And, you know, we talk about scoring in big moments when her team has a drought. She's a player that does that. If they need a 3, if they need a drive to the basket, if they need points on the board, she's going to be able to do that for them.
So the spark to get something going if they're struggling elsewhere. Yeah. Well, Drew caught up with Janice a little bit earlier on to find out her perspective, her emotions ahead of this remarkable afternoon for her.
Janice, you've announced your retirement at the end of the season. So a special game for you today?
Yeah, it's a big game. And, you know, I'm excited to be here and be able to, you know, finish it off in this arena, this type of game. So, yeah.
The Lions have been dominant this season. What's your thoughts on their team?
So I think, you know, they have the depth and experience. And so we're just going to have to match that, just match their intensity. They play hard the whole 40 minutes. And so we just have to match that the whole game.
And what would it mean for you to go out on top?
I try not to get too emotional today, but it would mean everything, you know. Like, I've had a great 4 years at Sevenoaks, and we've had our victories, and, you know, so today will just be adding to that, and a good way to finish it off for me. So,
thanks for your time, Janice.
No problem. Thank you.
What kind of emotions do you think are going through her mind right now, knowing this is going to be the last time?
I remember when I announced my retirement and going through those big stages, you know, that could be it's your last game. She knows it's going to be her last game. It's trying to control that, but at the same time, trying to look around and say, look, you know, look what I've achieved, look what I've done. You know, the story's not over yet. You want to end on a high, but she's already achieved so much. So, again, going back to what I said earlier on about embracing the moment, on the big stage in London, let's go, let's play some basketball.
It's going to be so hard to keep those emotions in check, though, isn't it? Not just because it's a final game, but given what's at stake.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard. But, you know, I think that's where you lean on your experience. And you just have to focus on what you have to do from a basketball perspective.
Other players for the Suns this afternoon that you feel need to step up to keep them competitive?
I think Frankie Wirtz is a big one. I think she has shown us that she can score in bunches. She did it in college. She's done it in games in the past. She actually scored 17 against London Lions in a championship game. She can do that. And I think if she provides an extra spark along with Kat and along with Janice, I think that might be what they need today to just push them over the edge.
Okay, we're getting closer to tip-off here at the O2. It has been delayed by half an hour, but we are very close to the first game getting underway, which gives us just enough time to get the final thoughts from Mike Tuck and Drew Lasker. Fellas?
Here we are, guys. We're here courtside, and Drew, a couple minutes here before the game. You're a guy that's been here before. Talk to me about what feelings are going through a player's head right now?
Well, as you're beginning to, you know that clock is ticking, you're getting those butterflies in your stomach, right? And then you're starting to think of every scenario that you can go through as a team. And then lastly, you're starting to think individually of what the task lies ahead. And then obviously, you know, you want to have a good game yourself. So you're just trying to paint all of these positive pictures in your head. But once you touch the floor and the ball goes up, then the nerves drop.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, when I was here in 2016, walking through the gate and getting in here and feeling the atmosphere, hearing the crowd, all the nerves immediately left my body, and I just felt ready to go. And you know, you hit layup lines, and you know, you get warmed up. There's no better feeling than playing in a big arena like this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, every person that's been on the court, you talk about the women's game now and the men's game later, have aspirations of playing in the WNBA and NBA. And this is the type of environment that we've always envisioned ourselves playing in, right? A big arena, a big crowd. So, you know, we want to put our best foot forward and show that we can perform on this level.
Yeah, and a great arena here, and we're buzzing to get the fans inside here. A little bit delayed, but apparently the crowds outside are monumental. We're excited to get everybody in here. Nat, I'm shooting it back up to you.
And I'm sure, thanks very much indeed, Mike, and I'm sure Mike Tuck has been working those crowds outside Hollywood. Mike Tuck, brilliant stuff from them. They're going to be part of our crew all afternoon long, picking up interviews, giving their expert insight into proceedings. We are delayed with the WBBL playoff final, but the team intros are coming next week. Welcome back to the O2 Lions Suns. Going to the WBBL playoff final, the first of our doubleheader this afternoon. A little bit later on, we've got the Leicester Riders against the London Lions in the men's BBL final. Expecting 15,000 plus here at the O2 today. Let's get the final thoughts. Firstly, something we've noticed actually watching the players warm up. Kennedy Leonard, one of the London Lions side, is wearing a face mask. Broken nose, we understand. How much of an impact might that have today?
She's a tough player. You know, I'm sure it hurts. You know, it's an inconvenience. I wonder if it's gonna maybe get in the way of her vision, but I doubt it. She's got eyes in the back of her head. She doesn't need the ones in the front of it, so I think she'll be absolutely fine.
What kind of season has she had?
Unbelievable season as always, and I think one of the things that I really like about her is how she adapts and molds to whatever coach needs her to do. She's had a lot of scorers around her this year. You know, she scores when she needs to, but what a dream for her as the passer that she is and the vision that she has to be able to facilitate to such talented players.
Right, it's a great point, and it is a team, as we've established, absolutely full of talent. So let's look at the key matchups then, getting your final thoughts. Siobhan, what do you think are the fundamental keys to this game? How can Sevenoaks look to try and keep things tight?
You've heard them say it, every single player, Len said it as well, they have to play for 40 minutes. Everything that they've got on their game plan, they have to execute that for 40 minutes. If they don't do it for 1 minute of the game, London's going to pounce on that. I think that's a really, really important thing for them. And I think they also have to try and control the inside with Azania. So that's going to be on Jamila Thompson to try and do that as well.
And it's a low-scoring game, suits Sevenoaks more than London.
Definitely. You know, London, they play tough defence. We've seen them intentionally ramp their defence up. They like to go from defence to offence quickly. They like offensive transition. A low-scoring game is definitely in the favour of Sevenoaks.
Kieran, these are the kind of games that this London side was built for. So, do they get it done? Do they seal the perfect season this afternoon?
I believe they do, but I was so intrigued by the way Sevenoaks Suns were talking in interviews. They genuinely have that belief, which is going to make this game very entertaining.
Siobhan?
London. I'm going London. I think it's going to be difficult. It's always difficult playing against London. I think Sevenoaks are going to make a good go of it, but I just think London have too much strength in depth.
Right, okay, there we go. It is almost about to get underway here at the O2. We're seeing on the screen now an award. Siobhan, talk us through what we're seeing here.
I can talk you through gladly. This is Praise Egereva. She's from our Nottingham Wildcats team, actually. She's a German international, 18 years old. She won the WBBL Young Player of the Year.
And she is courtside now with Mike.
We're here with the Young Player of the Year award, Praise. Only 18 years old. Congratulations. How does it feel to get this award?
It's amazing. It's just an honor to get this award, and like after all that's hard work, and I'm just really amazed and really honored and pleased about this award I got. Yeah.
Talk to us about the Nottingham Wildcats, obviously a monster organization within the WBBL, known for developing players. How did they help you along your way?
If I'm being honest, just as being a family, like we have that kind of family first mentality. So like anything you need, you just communicate with everyone, and we just like do a lot, you know, training, practice, of course. And like I feel like because we bring in Coach Kenrick brings in like a lot of good players, and then we all just getting to know each other and like playing together and like developing. And I feel like also bringing in more better players and helping me out as well to develop my individual skills. And it was really like a pleasure to play with the team. And like I just think that's just one thing about Wildcats. They work together. We can work together as a team. We work together in any situation. So I just think that's just one thing about Wildcats that we're just gonna remember, that I felt like a family. I felt belonged. So that was just one thing. Yeah.
Well, amazing achievement. Congrats again, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Congratulations all around. Right, we are almost ready for game time. About to welcome the players onto the court. So let's hand over for the first time today to our commentary team, the dynamic duo. Very good afternoon to Ant Rowe and Dan Routledge.
Good afternoon, Nat. Good afternoon, everybody. Ant, it's a fantastic day. You've been here. You've you've experienced this in the past, and these are the moments that all the hard work that we don't see in the off-season, through the year, the practice, the recovery from injuries, all of that stuff is about being out here on this court today.
It is, and you'll see a lot of young people in the crowd today as well, and that could plant that seed, that young mind watching this game like that, because that would be for me. You know, if I was here and I had that passion for basketball, and I see in my own country center stage such as this, I'd want a piece of that. I'd want to be on that center stage.
And the other thing they see out there is British players who've come through the program, and we've got two of the best in the women's game in Jo Leedon-Warner and Zania Stewart, who've represented Great Britain at Olympic Games. I mean, you couldn't get better role models than them.
No, you can't, and it goes back to that debate. Should I go to America? Should I go to Europe? You can stay in the UK and you can develop and you can have the opportunity, such as someone like Holly Winterburn, you know, such a young, early stage in her career, and she's so impactful, and her name is now, you know, known throughout the whole of the British basketball industry. So you're right, Dan, you can go a different route now, you can stay at home.
Well, the two teams about to be introduced. The crowd still making their way in here at the O2 Arena. And it is a different place to the sort of venues that these teams would normally play in. What advantage do you think the Suns have by having players who played in this building on numerous occasions before?
Experience in these occasions are priceless, in my opinion. You've got those people that have been through the good, the bad, you know, losing on the center stage as well. You've got to think, how did Kat Carr feel back in March when she lost that trophy final? And she's someone who's been very successful on the center stage, and they've got a number of players here. Rennie Bush as well, her first one was back in 2017, so I think those experiences can really help the Sevenoaks Suns in a game such as today.
Well, Tiana Clark there as well on the sidelines. Boy, they could do with her out there today, given how well she's performed on this stage in this gym. But Sevenoaks Suns definitely coming here to try and spoil the party. Most people, I've yet to find anybody pick against London. Most people are expecting that London will complete this undefeated season here today.
This is an underdog matchup, and that is no disrespect to Sevenoaks Suns, who are 21-3, a remarkable record. It's just because London Lions are that good. Now, the Sevenoaks Suns, they're going to have to, I think they're going to have to really implement their defensive strategy here. The best opportunity they've got here is to keep this game really low scoring. They only allow 56 points per game, so if they can keep this game scrappy and they frustrate the London Lions, all they need to do is have two of those players, and Zania Stewart, Jo Leedon-Warner or Kennedy Leonard, to have bad games, and then that's their opportunity to strike.
Well, that will certainly be it. But as we've seen, we saw Shanice Beckford-Norton in the playoff final last year. Unbelievable performance offensively, 30 points on the board. Kennedy Leonard had a triple-double, and it almost went under the radar.
There's a lot of weapons over there, a lot of talent, but I think some of their greatest strength this year is the unity. That is not for show, it's not fake, it is as genuine as they come. Why it's genuine is because they're able to put in performances week in, week out, and win games by an average margin of 40-plus points every week.
Well, the two teams are not far away from the opening tip-off here at the O2 Arena. And the two teams will line up on the free throw lines, and we will now have the national anthem. Well, 5 minutes away now from tip-off. We've talked a lot about how these two teams match up. Let's look how the numbers match up. And the thing you see from the London Lions is they're number one in pretty much everything.
It is, and when you see a team as dominant as them, you've got to think outside the box. So you really hope that Coach Len Bush here has got something up his sleeve, maybe something late, an adjustment there on the defensive end. But in my opinion, they have to figure out a way to not only contain but slow this offense down, because when they get rolling, it's really, really difficult to catch.
Well, that's the thing. You look at the top two lines on that. If the game finishes 90-something, Sevenoaks are going to get to 70-something at best. It needs to be down in the 50s and 60s.
Agreed. If both of these two teams play well today, shoot the ball well, it's a 20-plus point win to the London Lions. That's why I have to re-emphasize the Sevenoaks Suns have to figure out a way here on the defensive end to not only frustrate this London Lions team, but to mitigate the easy baskets they get.
And the crazy thing when you look at the team leaders is we almost never talk about Cassie Breen, and she averaged 16 points a game and leads the team in scoring.
That's how really, really dangerous this team is, just because they can have those players pop up and hurt you in a number of different ways. It's really, you can have a plan against Cassie Breen to just run her off the line, let's just say, but then you've got to try and stop Shanice Beckford-Norton. How do you do that? Azania Stewart, if she wants to go for a 9 for 9 from the field and get herself a 20-plus point game. So there's so many different ways this team can hurt you, and that's even without talking about Joe Needham-Warner, who is probably the most complete player we'll see in the WBBL.
We are not far away from the start of this ball game. London Lions and Sevenoaks Suns in the WBBL final. Tip-off is after this break. Look at Needham-Warner diving on the floor for the steal. Oh, and the pass to Winterburn. What a play! Carl, 1-2. He's good. Welcome back to the O2 Arena in London. It is the climax of the British basketball season. We have the WBBL playoff final as the London Lions going for an undefeated clean sweep take on the Sevenoaks Suns. And when you talk about the London Lions this season, we've been talking about Jolene Warner, one of the all-time great British players, MVP this season, does everything for any team she plays on.
Does everything down both ends of the floor. Formidable competitor, and under her wing she's got Holly Winterburn that we hope the British basketball community hope that she is following in leading Warner's footsteps.
Well, let's take a look at the starting five for the Sevenoaks Suns. Obviously, Kat Carr draws a lot of gravity, if you like, towards her. But Janice Monacana, in her final game, we've seen her in big games, on the big stage, on this floor, bring it every time in a final.
Every time we do this final, Dan, Janice Monacana finds a way to put her name in the starlight. So I'm hoping that she's going to go out big and do the just deserves exit that she deserves in this sport. But I think her partner in crime, Kat Carr, is going to have that formidable game to join her in the production here for the offensive end of the Sevenoaks Suns.
Well, there is no doubt about it. The Sevenoaks Suns need the perfect 40 minutes of basketball. They have shown at times that they are the only team, really, who's laid a proper glove on this London Lions team domestically. But 36 minutes, 37 minutes, 38 minutes, not enough. They've got to do it from tip to buzzer.
You're right, Dan, and they did it in league play. They were so good against this London Lions team for three and a bit quarters. It wasn't enough, Dan. I don't think 37 minutes is enough either. You said a perfect game. It must be a complete perfect game. Kat Carr touched on it before tip-off. It has to be both ends of the floor, complete game for the Suns to win today.
Well, the two teams are out and ready to go, and we can get this playoff final underway as the Suns come up with the opening possession of the game. Well, it's looking for some options. Here is Carr. Still Carr struggling to get an over. Oh my goodness, what a block from Winterburn. Monacana still has it though, driving hard, another block.
Wow, two back-to-back blocks. That's a message that nothing's going to come easy inside here for the London Lions. But what an incredible outreach block initially from Holly Winterburn. Wow.
Look at that, chasing out to it, tremendous, and kept it in play. Super hustle from Holly Winterburn.
And that's one of her advantages. We say she's a big guard. She's just really long, and she's athletic as well, and very, very difficult to shoot over, as we can see there on that play.
Leonard on the pick and roll with Stewart. On to leader Warner. Runs right into the defender. And look at that reaction from Kat Carr for taking the charge.
Wow, two remarkable defensive sets here for both of these teams, and that's a great play there. That's your star player coming over there, putting the body on the line. Great play.
That's looking for some options. Here's Bush. Koppel, good pass. And there's the first points on the board for the Sevenoaks Suns.
I like that offense, very patient, very measured, and they got something really good around the rim.
Here's Lena Warner. Overcooks the three and out of bounds. And Siobhan Pryor has made it down from the studio to join us down in comms. A tremendous occasion. Decent start here by the Suns at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think, we talked in comms about them making sure that they came out right on the whistle and that they were ready to go right from tip. So that's what they've done so far, and they need to keep that up.
His Carr on the turnaround. Tough shot. Well rebounded by Wirtz. Cross court to Bush. Inside, and that's another block. Stewart getting a hand on it.
London Lions are so big. Azania Stewart, 6'5", coming out to block that shot. Really difficult for Renee Bush to see any sort of daylight there at the rim.
Stewart shot rims out. Here's Carr. On a corner. Pass just a little further than she would have liked. Trying to use her strength against Stewart's height. Still have it, the Suns. Shot clock getting low, though. Monacana for three. Knocks it down. Janice Monacana from behind the arc.
And that's another second chance opportunity there from the Suns. I really like their aggressiveness in crashing the balls. Boards, and Janice Monacana gets another opportunity and knocks it down.
You know, and I think when you're in a big final like this, those are the things that win you a game. Like, can you get extra possessions? Are you diving on the floor? Are you always there for the 50-50 balls? They're the things that win you the game at the end of the day.
Well, the classic play from the trophy final, of course, Jolene Warner sliding along the hard wood to come up with a steal and a bucket. That really was when they had the momentum. Good strength from Winterburn for London's first score.
That's a nice isolation play there. Size advantage goes to Winterburn, and she takes full advantage of it down low.
Nice to see that versatility from Holly. You know, we don't see her in the block often, so it's good if she's growing a game like that. That's a great thing to see.
Koppel drives in, kicked out for another three, not this time.
Doesn't knock it down, but I like that. That aggressive penetration there, getting her teammate an open look.
Stewart has it knocked away by Wirtz. Still diving on the floor is Monacana. Away come the Suns. Bush out for three. No, towed the line. Long two for Renee Bush. Great start for the Suns.
Well, we said it, didn't we? They had to be good on the defensive end. Even if it's scrappy, they have to figure out a way, and a positive start for them.
Here's Winterburn again using her size down low.
She is, you know, playing like a leader, playing like a veteran. She's the one. Holly right now, as young as she is the one that's settling London at the moment.
Bush. Over to Koppel. Koppel fires up the three, and that rims out.
Well, it doesn't knock it down, but I quite like that from Koppel. I think she's one of those outlier players that's going to need to put in an offensive performance today, so she's going to get some shots up early, good for her confidence.
Again being aggressive to the basket. Here's Carr in transition. Taking it hard to the hole, but can't finish.
I think Kat Carr would want that one back. When she gets the ball in those danger areas, she's usually really, really good. But Holly Winterburn, the longer, bigger defender who's guarding her.
That is fantastic post play by Azania Stewart.
Yeah, I think she'll want that one back as well, Kat, because she could have, you know, Jo wasn't going to guard her, was she, fully? She's on one foul already, so, you know, she was going a little soft at her defensively. It's a shame that she missed that one, Kat.
Gets to the mid-range, that's a tough shot.
But that is her shot, you know, that pull-up mid-range jump shot. She's very effective in those areas.
Charles kicks it out. Leonard in the corner for three off the mark. Suns looking to push. Oh, transition three from Monacana. Comes all the way out to Bush. Carr. Back to Bush. Shot clock getting low. That's a foul on the floor on Kennedy Leonard.
The Suns doing a good job. It's not that the ball movement is not, I would say, great at the moment. But what they're doing a good job at is penetrating. They're making London Lions having to guard them, and they're committing another foul. And they're getting good things from the penetration right now.
Yeah, not a smart foul either. They were low in the shot clock.
Well, it's one of those weird occasions. Because they took the shot so early, they actually shortened their shot clock, because the offensive rebound, you only get 14 seconds. So they probably had, I don't know, 18, 19 seconds in that offense rather than the usual 24. Thompson into the game for the first time for Sevenoaks. Peckford Norton, who was sensational in last year's playoff final, coming in for London. Works along the baseline, and the lights went out there, surrounded by Charles and Stewart.
I think she's a player, Frankie Wirtz. If they want to win Sevenoaks, she's going to have to produce something today.
Agreed. You're going to have a lot of these players now having to step up and contribute.
Thompson and Koppel knocking it loose, but London still have the ball. Beckford Norton under pressure. Joseph with the rebound, can't convert. And there's a foul in there somewhere.
I really do like the aggressiveness at the moment from the Suns. This is a team you feel I feel wronged by the losses that they've had this year, and you know, that chip on your shoulder or that aggressive intent, everything's, you know, they're trying to swipe down the ball, trying to make things real difficult for the Lions, especially in and around the paint, which is...
Winterburn off the mark. Needham Warner on the offensive glass. Here's Joseph. She knew that was missing, chased down her own rebound. And just a little change of pivot foot and called for the travel.
Done a great job, Shaquila Joseph, since she's come in. She only joined this roster towards the end of the season, but another great British talent, 3 offensive rebounds already.
They were short on great British talent.
Yeah, of course,
yeah,
exactly. They just needed another one.
Just needed one more. Here's Carl. Guarded by Stewart. It's hard to get a pass away because of the long arms of Azania Stewart. Winterburn goes underneath. Back to Joseph. Blocked by Thompson, but the foul is called. And Joseph will go to the line for 2.
Jamelia Thompson, really important for her to stay out of foul trouble. The size advantage is clearly on the Lions. And oh, goodness, that looked like a really good block to me. And I would be very upset if that was caught on me.
Yeah, that looked clean to me as well. But you're right, she is a player that can be prone to foul trouble. So they need her out on the floor. She's got to control the paint for Sevenoaks.
First free throw is a little short. The second one is good. Game is tied at 7. Offense dried up a little bit for Sevenoaks in the last few minutes, having scored those early 5 points.
I think they like this tempo, though. I think
they
like this. This lower scoring, scrappy, if you want to call it, that type of game. And I think the longer they can keep London Lions without possessing any type of rhythm, the better for them.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. A scrappy game for them, just ruining momentum, really, or stopping them from gaining any is what they need. 2
fouls on Needham Warner. She waved over to Mark Clark to say, no, I'm good. Don't worry about it. And Cassie Breen is sat on the subs bench, so I don't know whether he's ignoring her or Koppel's going to get caught for a foul, trying to prevent Stewart from getting free in the lane.
Feels like, you know, the refs have called it a little tighter in the last few possessions. Joe's foul there, she put her hand in, took it out when she was told to, and still got the foul on the floor. So, you know, as a player, you've got to adjust, haven't you?
Needham Warner sitting down on that substitution with Breen coming in. Took away, will stay with London.
Cassie Breen, we obviously know her for her skill set from beyond the perimeter, but here she is getting stuck in there and getting another possession here for her team.
Winterburn. There's a open for 3, really short. There's Beckford Norton knocking that away.
She is a phenomenal athlete, isn't she? It's just beautiful to watch. Just the fact how high she got up there, tipped the ball away, so tenacious.
Good defense from the Lions, not making any pass easy. Here's Carr, guarded by Beckford Norton. Wirtz gets the shot away and knocks it down.
Good patience there from the Suns, and Wirtz there able to pull up off the dribble and knock it down. Nice looking shot.
Yeah, they need more of that from Wirtz.
Winterburn's 3 is short. Carr trying to get there, does get there. Beckford Norton chasing back. Thompson. Bush. Carr now looking to go baseline. Floats one up, overcooks it.
Tough shot there off the one foot off balance. You'd want her to regain control there because that pull-up jump shot of hers is very effective.
for three, halfway down, back out again.
There's been a couple of those now, bobbling in and out from both teams. Sometimes a little bit harder shooting in these gyms. You're not used to it. The arena's really, really quite big, which kind of messes with that perception too when you're shooting.
Yeah, I do think sometimes it takes a little time to get used to, but they are at 0-6 from 3 right now. I'm sure that will change. Cassie Breen's on the floor, but yeah, they need to get going from the outside. London.
Sevenoaks are 1 of 5, so between them 1 of 11 from behind the arc. Well, they need to get this in here. A bit static on that inbound.
There's been a couple of them now where they've been very close to that 5-second violation.
Pass deflected away. Breen out in transition. Back to her point guard. Joseph with the step under. Ball falls to Carl.
They just haven't settled yet, have they, London? Everything's in and out, as you said, Ant.
Works. Spinning in, back out to Carl. Fires up the 3. Carl strings it.
That's just such good basketball. Again, the penetration, they're looking to attack that rim, but what they're looking to do is they're looking to create space for their teammates, and Kat Carr stepping into that shot. She's knocking it down.
She is, and you know, if there is a chink in her offensive armor, and we say a big if, it is a three-point shot. So if she starts to hit those as well, it's going to be a long night for Lions.
Well, there's a lot of people come here expecting London to set some records. They might set one here in the first quarter for the lowest number on the board. 9 is the current record, and they haven't got it there. Maybe Ume, no, she misses as well. Charles, that doesn't go in. And Bush with the rebound, and that will do it for the first quarter. We said for the Suns to have a shot at winning this game, they had to keep it low scoring. They certainly have. Mark Clark and his loaded roster have just 7 points in the opening 10 minutes here at the O2 Arena. Well, is the big upset on the cards? It certainly looks that way here through 10 minutes. London Lions 7, Sevenoaks Suns 12. We'll have the second quarter when we return. Welcome back to the O2 Arena, where we've just seen a record in the first quarter, the lowest scoring first quarter by a team in London Lions, and the lowest scoring first quarter combined in a playoff final with 19 points. But that is probably exactly what the Suns were hoping for, to take some of the steam out of this juggernaut that is the London Lions offense. Here's Ume inside, trying to find some room, crowded out of it, almost got it home.
Dan, if you told me the London Lions were going to set that record before this game, I would have said you know nothing about British basketball. We all know that's not true.
Breen gets a little hand on that. Very good defensively, London. Oh, it's stolen away. Leonard driving hard to the hole. Can't finish. Carl. Bush driving to the basket, blocked by Beckford Norton.
Such an athlete coming across there from the weak side. She looked above the rim.
So athletic.
Joseph. Sort of running out of room, throws it back to Leonard. Beckford Norton for three. And the Lions, it's taken 11.5 minutes, but into double figures.
Much needed points there for the London Lions, and Shanice Beckford Norton, all WBBL Team of the Year, came up big there.
Yeah, and she will do that. Offensively, she can be a real catalyst for them. She can score in bunches.
Here she is again, thinking about it, taking it, and making it back-to-back threes for Shanice Beckford Norton. Forces Len Bush into a timeout.
Shanice Beckford Norton has almost doubled the offensive production so far for this London Lions in 2 plays. That's how much of an impact she has. Wow.
Well, she had 30, which is a playoff final record last season, alongside Ali Garel, who also had 30 in that game. And you can see straight away, Len Bush, timeout. No, we need to stop this. We can't allow them to get going like that.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. It's a really good timeout, just for a reminder for his team, but more than anything, sometimes I think as a coach you need to stop that momentum, and I think when it's London and they're gaining momentum like that, you know, you just have to take the reins and you have to stop that momentum yourself.
What's difficult as well for the Suns team at the moment is it's really easy when a player hits a three-point shot, get up on them, but an athlete like Shanice Beckford Norton will just blow right by you, which then either creates for herself or it creates an easy layup for Steph Ume or a corner three for Cassie Breen. So it's when we say that they can hurt you in a number of ways, but Shanice Beckford Norton hitting that jump shot just opens up everything else.
Probably settles a bit of nerves as well. I mean, I know they're a super team and a lot of experience and blah, 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 but it's still a final. You still come out, you've only scored 7 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, they are human. You know, I was interested to see actually how the game was going to begin, because there was a delay in the tip time, so it was interesting to see which team would still be coming out of the blocks ready to go. It was Sevenoaks, but, you know, London are right back on top again.
I don't know if there's a theory behind that, but I've been involved in games where there's been a delay before, and you know, when you feel hard done by it, yes, it was because of the delay, but then sometimes it can work in your favor, but it does have a mental effect on you.
Yeah, something extra that you have to manage.
Well, Thompson trying to find Koppel, turns it over. Here's Beckford Norton, a little stop and go to the basket. Ume with the offensive rebound. Beckford Norton going for a third, but not this time.
Koppel does good to bring in that rebound as well, and Sansa bring it down the other end of the floor. Thompson bringing it up herself. Wow.
Well, she isn't the most natural point guard on the team, and slightly went down a blind alley there.
So the Suns are going to be very mindful of here as well. The turnover is now racking up. That'll be turnover number 5, and as we can see, when they turn the ball over, on that occasion it went out of bounds, so you know, you classify that as a better turnover, but the hands are in the passing lane. As soon as the London Lions regain possession, they're out to the races. Really difficult to stop in transition.
They are, and I feel like that's why you have to be so disciplined. Decisions like that for you, you know, as a centre who maybe doesn't bring the ball up,
Wow! Beckford Norton flying through the air for the putback.
She has got her cape on in full effect, and this one we see her flying. Shanice Beckford Norton. Woo! Wow, good putback.
Superwoman.
Nice pass. Carl with the lay-in.
Sometimes it looks so good on execution, the Suns. That's what they have to get back to. Their disciplined basketball. Nice cut from Kat Carr. Nice finish.
Here's Beckford Norton. Drives in, floats it up! And a chance for a three-point play.
She is going off. She said, listen, guys, listen, we can't have a slow start on basically our home court, the O2 Arena. Just give me the ball. Just give me the ball. Step back. Watch me. Watch me shine.
Goodness me. 10 early points for Beckford Norton. And like I was saying, how do you stop someone that can do everything? You know, she hits the three, she attacks the rim, and it's that athleticism as well to be able to take the contact there, stay focused, and then finish the play.
Yeah, not only that, but she's such a good rebounder. She plays defense. She gets in the lane. She can get herself open layups down the other end. She's absolute handful.
Well, maybe she doesn't want... Oh, no, that's not a good pass. Straight out of bounds. I was about to say, maybe Beckford Norton doesn't want to share the record for most points in a playoff final, so she's going to break it again this year.
Yeah. I think, you know, this is where Suns have just got to be careful. Lions have put on the pressure offensively this time. We normally see it defensively.
Nice out-of-bounds play from the baseline, and a big smile on Azania Stewart's face.
That's what you do not want to see, by the way. I used to think Azania Stewart would smile, and I thought, okay, maybe she'll take it easy. That smile is very deceiving, because it seems to want her to obliterate her opponents.
That smile means I've got you. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, these are important minutes for the Suns here, because London have the momentum. You've got to find some way of wrestling it back. Foul called on Stewart on the floor, so it'll be an end-line ball, sideline probably.
I like that matchup for Manakana there. Azania Stewart has to get out on her because she doesn't want to shoot that three. What that does is Manakana's first step there has been a wedge in between those two defenders and get to the rim.
Push. Deflected by Charles, but straight to Koppel. Needs to go up here. Shot clock is low. Koppel fires it away, and it's out of bounds for a London ball.
Difficult offense there for the Suns, but Kennedy Leonard's doing an excellent job on the weak side there. She's denied the pass there, so they can't get the ball in the hands of Kat Carr. They want Kat Carr to control the offense, but Kennedy Leonard denying that pass and slowed the whole offense up there.
Winterberg gets clattered on the rebound.
Koppel's been excellent on the board. Yeah. 5 rebounds for her.
Carr. Back to Koppel. Lennon gets it back from Stewart, and Leadham Warner down on the low block takes the foul from Renee Bush.
This is where really with Sevenoaks, you're just looking who's going to give you that. They just need a bucket, that's it, just one, just to settle them down. Who is going to give that to them?
Well, Manakana should have stole that, really had a hand on it. It turns into 3 as it went straight to Chantel Charles.
Disastrous play there. The almost interception actually slowed the ball down to make it an easier catch for Chantel Charles to step into that 3-point shot.
Carr. It's tough to go against Stewart in that sort of, so long, able to block shots. Stewart, nice.
Really good patience from Z there. I think last time she got it on the block, she just rushed a little bit. She took her time. Great footwork, nice move and finish.
Well, 6 minutes have passed in the second quarter. And Sevenoaks have only scored once, 18 points to 2, the score in this quarter. Call. Can't convert, wants a foul, doesn't get one. A lot of room for Leonard for 3.
Suns got away with one there. Kenny Leonard stepping into that three-point shot. She'll knock that down more often than not.
Works with the spin, getting all the way to the basket. Needed that.
Frankie works. What a move there. Looked to go into the middle, but spins. Left side there. Nice finish.
Leonard takes it right back. Couples has it stolen away by Charles, but they didn't bring the ball with them. Caught, running it back, kicks out to the corner, and Bush. Renee Bush for 3.
This time the London Lions getting punished for their turnover. Good penetration there again from the Suns, and this time finding Renee Bush in the corner for the 3.
Knocked away, but illegally so, by Monacana.
A lot of contact on the body there, wasn't it? Referee had a pretty good look on that one as well.
Watkins and Thompson return for the Suns. Beckford Norton back for the Lions. Here she is. They've knocked off her there. Dangerous thing to do. But it does go out for a Suns possession.
See on that occasion that Joseph almost brought in that offensive rebound. The size difference at the moment for the London Lions is such an advantage, but the Suns are just making up for what they lack in height with heart and aggression and battling on those boards.
Works for 3. Oh, they found it now, the Suns. They struggled to get points on the board. 2 in 6 minutes. They've got 8 in the last minute and a half.
What a play. Frankie works. Excellent move initially. The play before where she drove in the middle, spins out, and this time her confidence is high. Nothing but net on the release of that jump shot.
Well, they really did need a little bit of something. And a couple of threes have dropped in. Well, one man very interested in this game, the former London Lions coach, Vince McCauley, is with Mike Tuck.
Vince, what are your thoughts on the first half?
Wow, just amazing. The way the girls are playing, both teams are showing real depth and guts. But I thought that 18-2 run really blew it open for the Lions. But back-to-back threes for the Suns, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, and a word on the atmosphere here today. You know, we're here live in the O2. How important is this to British basketball?
This is tremendous. This is obviously the pinnacle of what we try and do at the WBBL and the BBL. Just to see all these people here already for the women's game, let alone the men's game, is terrific. And the fair on the floor is just tremendous.
And a word on yourself. You know, you're a BBL legend. What's next for you?
Hey, plenty of time to relax for now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll see something by then.
Perfect. Throwing it back over to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mike. Can't imagine Vince relaxing too much. Sure.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe a little preview. I don't know, but we hope it's not too long before we see him on these British scenes or in a nice jacket or two.
Yeah.
I miss the fashion. I miss the fashion. He brought it every game.
Two teams making their way back out on court. It'll be a London Lions ball. Their lead is down to 5, having been as many as 11. Beckford Norton, the penetration, the kick. But in and out for Leonard.
Suns doing a great job of boxing out and securing the defensive rebounds. Very few second chance opportunities for the London Lions.
Well, it's under pressure. Here's Carr. Monacana trying to find some room. Oh, and that is a big push from Monacona to knock Beckford Norton to the ground, and that foul is going to go against Janice Monacona, and that's her second.
Really smart defense by Shanice. You know, Janice is so powerful. We say it every time we watch her play. She goes to the basket so hard, but Shanice doing a really good job of getting in the right spot and standing her ground.
Charles with a little stack. Doesn't get the bounce of the ball. Down to Carr. Carr trying to use her size, but almost loses the ball. Gets it away to Watkins.
Watkins had a really good look there. She moved, she cut at the perfect time. Just wasn't able to convert the play. And a good play on the defensive end from her there as well. Not only just to recover, but that little tip there. It's a basket-saving tip, because if Joseph catches it in there, it's all she wrote.
A minute to go in the first half. Leonard did well to keep that in play.
We have seen remarkable saves from her. I remember one in
deep three from Winterburn. Ooh, winning out.
The three ball hasn't quite dropped yet for London Lions on a consistent basis. It's that 3 for 14 now from on the three-point line.
27%. It's not what we're used to seeing from them, is it?
Monacona cutting back door, gets it to go through the contact, and one for Janice Monacona.
It's a great pass, a great catch, and an even better finish there from Janice Monacona to power that one up through.
Well, this has been a really good response from the Sevenoaks Suns. Scored 2 points in the first 6 minutes. As Vince said, it was an 18-2 start to the quarter, and they have responded with 11 of the next 13. Winterburn. Trying to find something for herself, and wasn't really there. Shot clock is off here. They can take the last one. They're going inside to Monacona, though. Trying to force her way through two. Wants a foul, gets a technical instead. And that's going to be the third foul on Janice Monacona.
6 seconds before halftime as well. You never want to pick up a technical, but one of your key players was just trying to power that ball up there, but I don't know, it wasn't a whole lot in it. The technical comes, and that'll give her a third personal, which is, you don't want to see. Even for the neutral, you don't want to see a player of her caliber having to spend extended minutes on the bench.
Well, there's plenty of chatter going on at the minute. Trying to look every way to see what's going on.
It was one of those ones where I get what they were trying to do, that quick basket, but there was 14.5 seconds left. You want to hold the ball, have the last possession. It's in your destiny as well, whether you convert.
Beckford Norton certainly does convert right to the rim for the lane. What a first half for Shanice Beckford Norton. Came off the bench and really given them some life with 13 points.
It's just so difficult. Her quick first step, then her athleticism to be able to finish the play, extends this out to 5.
Well, the London Lions, led by as many as 11, but they will go into the locker room at half-time with just a 5-point lead, thanks to a good finish to the second quarter by the Sevenoaks Suns here at the O2 Arena in London. They got to just keep doing that. They've done it now for 20 minutes. We talked about a 40-minute game. They've had 20 minutes of good action. They've uglied it up, if you like. If you look at the shooting numbers, they're not great, but that's the way they win.
They have indeed, Dan, and that's what they had to do. And you made a really valid point as well. That second quarter, that could have really been terrible for the Sevenoaks Suns. They were able to muster a recovery, and they were going on a nice little run there. Had it not been for that technical foul there at the end to extend this lead, they're in a really good position here going into the second half.
Yeah, and I think, you know, after that trophy final, if you ask them now, do they want to be in this position at halftime, I'm sure they would have told you yes. You know, it's 5 points, it's nothing.
Well, Shanice Beckford-Norton has been excellent in the first half. Let's hear from her. She's with Drew.
Shanice, unusual slow start in that first quarter for your Lions. Walk me through this first half battle.
I mean, it was tough. Like, the game was delayed 30 minutes. We had to warm up and get back into it, get our mind right again. But we came together. We brought the energy. That's how practices are for us. We have energy. We support one another, and that's what we came to do at the end of the second half.
But you sparked the team early off the bench in that second. What did you feel like the team needed in its early struggles?
I think we just needed to, like, get that focus back. Like I said at the start, we just need to get that focus back. And for us, it always starts with defense. So it's just getting those stops. I remember Kennedy got a stop, Z got a couple blocks, Joe got a deflection, and that's what gets us going, defense.
And 16,000 jam-packed in here. Describe the atmosphere and environment from a player's point of view.
No, it's amazing. I mean, with the lights and everything, you can hardly see half the people in here, to be honest. But the amount of people not just supporting us, but supporting British basketball, women's British basketball, is amazing.
Thanks for your time, Shanice. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
It's all to play for here at the O2. The Lions were double-digit favourites coming into this game, but the Suns have kept them to within 5. Reaction and analysis coming next. Well, game on here at the O2. The London Lions unbeaten domestically all season long, looking for a clean sweep of titles but they are in a fight against the Sevenoaks Suns. It was a brilliant start from Sevenoaks. London started to find their groove in the second quarter. Shanice Beckford-Norton driving their offense. But right now, at the half here at the O2, it is just a 5-point ball game. If we look at the numbers, well, it wasn't exactly an auspicious half of basketball offensively from either side, but some things that really stand out for us looking at the numbers. Well, the bench points for starters. London have used 9 players, and we're seeing that strength in depth in action. 14 bench points to 0 for the Sevenoaks Suns. And second chance points as well, Kieran Achara, something you wanted to point out.
Yeah, an amazing start. 21 points of second chance points. And that's just showing you they're not shooting the ball well, but they're sticking with the play. And Siobhan mentioned it at the top, they're going to struggle holding her like a Xenia Stewart down low. She's been big on the boards, creating those second chance opportunities for their teammates. And that's why they're in the lead right now. They found a way to dig in deep. Things weren't going their way, but they found a way to still score.
Given what we saw in the trophy final, Len Bush is going to be pretty happy right now that this is just a 5-point ball game.
He definitely has to be happy. It's been they got off to a great start. They made it a really scrappy game. London want to play fast. They want to move the ball. They weren't able to do that. So, yeah, definitely a great start from Len Bush.
Let's have a look at the start from Sevenoaks then, because it was both ends of the court. Offensively, it was very much Kat Carr getting things rolling, as we expected she would, and as we suggested was necessary for them to compete this afternoon. But defensively, holding this formidable Lions offense with 7 points. So, Kieran, I've got to ask you, how much of that was self-inflicted from the Lions, and how much of it was strong D from the Suns?
I think a bit of both. I thought the Suns started off really, really strong. They were doing a really good job of just disrupting, getting in the passing lanes, getting hands up on tough shots. Nothing was easy for the London Lions earlier on. Obviously, the emotions of the game, the fans, the arena maybe caught up with the Lions a little bit, but it was the Suns who ensured that they didn't allow them to get comfortable.
They did start to look a little bit more like their typical selves in the second quarter. Offensively, certainly really starting to roll. And Shanice Beckford-Norton, the standout player, not just for them, but on court, frankly, 13 points. And she was really the catalyst, wasn't she, Kieran, to their offense?
Catalyst, very aggressive, very comfortable, but she just went out and got it. And those 13 points were big for the London Lions.
It was interesting what she said in her half-time interview, the delay to their tip-off, 30-minute delay to the tip-off. Do you think that had some bearing in the uncharacteristically sluggish start we saw from London today?
I think so. If she's talking about it, it definitely played a part. I think it messed up the routine. And I think when it messes up your routine, you're off a little bit.
Okay, it is the season finale for British basketball here at the O2 this afternoon. So we figured, well, it's a good time to sit back and reflect and celebrate some of the great moments from the year. We're back for season 2 with the BBL on Sky Sports.
The fans are back. That's unbelievable to me.
We love the drama, Dan. Yeah. We love it.
And action.
That's a preview of the season, and that's not a bad look.
Period again for another 3. Oh my goodness! Kyler Kelly!
This is Glasgow, Newcastle, so I might give Kieran a few bows tonight.
It's similar to what he does in the court, and the referee's never called it, so.
Thing on. Mike Tuck checking in.
Working.
Sky Sports, baby.
It works.
Hey, tell New England Patriots to come get me. I look like Tom Brady.
6 points, 4.5 minutes. We can't take our eyes off anything.
Blocked by Gino Crandall.
Like 33 now, man.
We ain't scoring there. We scored. Let's go.
How did I miss that free throw? What did I not do? Oh, man.
That was disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, that play was disgusting.
Disgusting.
What a throwdown! Coach Rob Paternostro, Ramon Fletcher, Mike Tuck, Siobhan Pryor, Vince McCauley.
Let's go!
Favourite bit of British slang that you picked up?
Well, I don't have a slang, but when you Brits get off the phone, bye.
Oh, my God.
I'm tripping. Oh, I do got one. Mendem.
Cheeky Nando's.
Not bad, but not a patch on your Geordie accent, Drew Lasker.
Why, man? Freezing like?
So do the Geordie accent now.
Sky Sports, Friday night in the tank.
The London Lions are the 2022 trophy champions.
I want us to go out for dinner.
Yeah, right.
It's not happening.
I don't want to have to hear Kieran and Charles' mouth if they don't make the playoffs.
And do you think that'll happen, Drew?
Fletcher, top of the key, knocks it down. My hair has grown. What has the other guy ever achieved?
So we've had a decent start.
My pet peeve is chewing really loudly. Loud.
All right, wait. I'm gonna let y'all finish. But why I can't get an interview, man?
Louder.
Loudly. Can I get a whole ass?
LOL, that's all I do.
My pet peeve is chewing really loud. Oh my god, I can't say it.
Gator clap.
Loud. Can you say it again?
No. This is gonna be a long day.
Big guard.
You can edit me.
Oh, we're good. We're good. We got
And you have not aged a day.
When the hair falls out earlier in life, it's a lot easier to stay looking the same.
My pet peeve is chewing loudly.
And the Leicester Riders are the Cup champions. The Cheshire Phoenix, the 2022 BBL Trophy champs. The 2022 BBL champions, the Leicester Riders.
I love this group, and I love going to battle with them.
Are you not entertained?
All right, fess up. How much cash exchanged hands between you and the production team to get that clip in of you just absolutely skidding Drew?
You know that would be my plays of the week as well. That was absolutely disgusting.
Didn't you just give yourself for disgusting at the end of the season?
Exactly.
Well, rightly so. Brilliant memories. What a season it has been here on Sky Sports, but we are not done yet. A fascinating second half in store of the WBBL playoff final. Remember, the men's BBL final between the Lions and the Riders on its way to you a little bit later on, but we've got business to take care of first between the Lions and the Suns, and it is too close to call. Second half is coming next. Welcome back to the O2. We're expecting over 15,000 fans here this afternoon, and they are being entertained already at half-time in the WBBL playoff final. It is too close to call. The Sevenoaks Suns, underrated, written off by many ahead of this game, are within 5 points of the all-conquering London Lions. Let's get the second half underway as we head back to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed. The Suns in position. But as we said, 20 minutes is not enough to beat this London team. Can they sustain it for the full 40? Sevenoaks. Good hands. Steal. No car still has it. They do get it. Leland Warner runs it right back for a lane.
Well, if that's an intention of how the second half's going to go, then the Suns need to strap in, because you had two players there, Chantal Charles and Leland Warner, chasing down that basketball.
You can see it in Leland Warner's eyes right now.
I was going to say exactly that. We've seen him do it so many times before. They come out in the second half, they put the pressure on defensively, and off they go.
Well, the storm is coming, but can they weather it? Sevenoaks. Points are going to be hard to get. They've got to find some way of keeping the scoreboard ticking. Oh, Wirtz was open for a brief second. Bush. Wirtz late in the shot clock. Foul called.
She has been such a difficult cover so far today, Frankie Wirtz. Just a really good ability to keep her dribble alive and find space.
Yeah, she's played well today, and you know, we talked about it, didn't we? She is going to be an X factor for them. If she can play well, they'll stay in the game. She's very capable offensively.
Carr spins off the mark. Koppel knocks it loose though, and London get it back. Sevenoaks get it back even. London have the ball now. Stewart. Winterburn for three. Strings it.
Such a good pass out of the post from Rosania Stewart, and Holly Winterburn squared that one up and knocked it down.
Just simple basketball, isn't it? I mean, it looks simple. They make it look simple, but that's what they're so good at.
It's a double-figure lead with London scoring the first 5 points of the third quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Bush spinning, driving, kicks. Wirtz just keeps it in play, fires it up, got caught, and she will shoot 3.
Sometimes the over-aggressiveness can shoot you in the foot, and on that time, Holly Winterburn just died down a little bit too fast and caught Wirtz on the hand. Shoot 3 throws.
It's a tough shot to make at the end of the shot clock as well. The foul gives her an opportunity. Holly Winterburn's just slapped herself in the face as if to say, that was a mistake.
I was abstaining from comment then, Dan, because I'm not so sure that was a foul. I'll say it. Yeah, I feel like she maybe tickled her on the finger.
Tickled contact.
Is it tickle a foul? I don't know. I'm not sure.
You're shooting that 3.
Oh, 100% it's a foul. Yeah. I'm on the line for 3, and I'm annoyed if they don't call it.
Just checking. Well, the first points of the second half for the Suns on the board from the free throw line. Charles hands off to Leland Warner. Kicked out to Winterburn. Winterburn trying to get the 3 points back. Works with the rebound. Bush again to the spin. Stolen away by Winterburn.
London Lions do an excellent job at guarding Bush. They know how dangerous she is, shooting close to 50% from beyond the three-point line. They really do make things difficult for her.
Leland Warner with the triple.
Yeah, you have to make her put it on the floor, and that's what they're doing. And then down the other end, you know, a skip pass, simple skip pass. Joe's not going to miss that one wide open.
It's the last player you'd want to get hot in this building too if you were a Suns fan.
Do not awaken the beast.
Koppel spins into trouble. Winterburn has Leadham Warner ahead of her, finds her. Leadham Warner with the lay-in. And the London Lions have started strongly here in the second half. 3 minutes into the second half, a timeout called by Len Bush as his team trail by 12.
Yeah, and I think it's same old story, isn't it? It's team defense. They've upped the ante. They're all working hard for each other, both offensively and defensively. And, you know, we've seen it so many times before. They're playing London Lions basketball.
And I think they're disciplined as well. I mean, you guys mentioned that you can see it in their body language and the look on Leadham Warner's face, is they've clearly been given a message at half-time, whether it's by Coach Mark Clark that things weren't good enough, they need to adjust, or adapt. But you know, it's clearly a different attitude towards this half already. Look, it's still very early. It's barely 3 minutes played, but you can just see another notch there on their performances, and that's the worrying sign, I think, when you look at the Suns and the rest of the other WBBL teams. When London Lions hit that another gear, there's no one else that can compete.
No, and I think that's exactly what I was thinking when you said that. They've got another level that no one else has, and I think, well, you know, when you're 5 points down at half-time, you're playing at the highest level that you can play, and they're still not even in second gear.
Well, in the inaugural season of the WBBL, Sheffield Hatters won all 4 trophies. They didn't go undefeated, lost 1 game that season. Do you remember who they lost them to?
Me?
Nottingham,
yeah.
Early in the season.
You were looking at me as if to say, no, just me. just me, I was the only one on the court.
Stolen away by Leadham Warner, but given right back. Well, somebody had 21 points in that game, by the way.
Who was that?
Not you.
I knew that was coming, that's why I didn't say it.
Monaco driving to the back, and Common Reynolds had 21 in that game. You had 7.
Reynolds. Oh, really? Yeah. Disappointing.
1 for 4 shooting.
Shocking.
Points from the free throw line.
All right, I'm so sick that you can remember all of these stats. Can you just stop it? Sometimes it's really useful, but sometimes it's highly annoying.
Not, yeah. Me and Dan have come into the arrangement now. When it makes me look good, use all the stats you want in the world. But when it
Don't throw me under the bus with them.
When it diminishes your professional career as it stands, just keep those stats left behind.
They're not my numbers. They're not my numbers.
Did you say don't shoot the messenger? I'm more than happy about shooting the messenger.
Oh, goodness.
Here's Leadham Warner down on the low block, trying to go to work on Cat. Lovely step back and the kick out to Kennedy Leonard for 3. It's short.
Wow. Leadham Warner just sucked all the defense in there and leads to an open shot that Kennedy Leonard just didn't knock down on that occasion.
I don't know if you saw that. That was so smart then from Kennedy Leonard. It didn't quite work, but the ball was rolling out of bounds. She tipped it last. She goes to try and hit it off of her leg. Didn't quite come away with it, but smart play.
Out to work for 3. Too long. Into Stewart. Touched on to Charles for 3. Off the mark.
Doesn't knock it down, but it's good basketball, isn't it? The movement, sharing of the ball.
Winterburn keeps it in play. Travel, just a little drag of the back foot there, I think.
Well, games took a bit of a turn here now, slowed down. Rhythm clearly gone from the Lions. Opportunity for the Suns here.
Yeah, this is where they've got to capitalise on these little spells. They don't happen often for Lions. They've got to get a score here, Sevenoaks.
Thompson's just come back into the game. So too Beckford Norton for the Lions. Carr under pressure. Ball on the floor. Leadham Warner diving for it. And I think Thompson's going to get called for a foul there.
She just epitomises everything that's a competitor, doesn't she? She doesn't care whether it's the game-winning shot or diving on a ball or throwing it behind your head, whatever it is, she just commits 100%.
Yeah.
If I need to do it to win a basketball game, I will.
She's a winner, like in every sense of the word.
Leader Warner off the back of the iron for 3. Beckford Norton and Joseph going after it. London keep possession. Winterburn out to Charles. Leader Warner off the mark for 3. Got to shoot here. Holly Winterburn. That was, I think, over the backboard. She was right in the corner trying to get that away.
And come up empty-handed. Sevenoaks really have got to try and capitalise, like you said, Ant, on these possessions from Lions. Stop some scores.
Carr drops one in from 12 feet.
If she can start getting that pull-up going, and she's onto something, because that's a really good defender there, and Shanice Beckford guarding her, but as quick as she is with that pull-up, it's really difficult to contest that shot.
For Norton driving in, offensive foul is the call. She's not happy with that.
Jamila Thompson does a really good job of getting her position in there. Steps across. Good defensive possession there from the Suns. Good play.
Yeah, really great defense from her, and she's known for that. She's a great defender.
Timeout called by Mark Clark and the London Lions. Still in front, but the lead is down to 9.
Wow, it's all about momentum, and you can tell Mark Clark doesn't quite like the way it's going. Bit of a barren period here now offensively after starting the quarter so well. They look a little bit disorientated on offense, and Mark Clark wants to take some time here now to settle them down and talk things through.
No, and I think credit as well to Sevenoaks, because when we saw this in the trophy final, they absolutely collapsed. They've seen this, you know, this extension of defensive pressure that they saw in the third quarter right at the start, and they've not backed down.
In some ways, it's almost like a free hit, isn't it? When nobody gives you a chance, you know, you have nothing to lose. So you just give, particularly last game of the season, give everything you can and see what happens. And it's funny because we talk about their massive underdogs. They're a pretty big dog. Even though they're an underdog.
They are, definitely. Probably the biggest dog of the underdogs. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it at the top of the show. They've been here 3 times in the playoff final, and they've won 3 times.
And even this year, they're 21-3. It's a remarkable record of by, you know, any standards of any years you want to look back. So it's you're right. It's a really big underdog. But this is a really big favourite team.
It really is. The big lion. Oh, no, that's a cat. Oh, come on. I was trying to link it all together. It just didn't work.
There's what? Looking for some options. There aren't really many, and the shot clock's getting low, and they've turned it over. Stewart now diving on the floor.
She sort of styled that out too.
She
it was
did, yeah.
Nice looking slide.
There we go, and then turns it into 2 points from the free throw line.
Well, that's back-to-back highlights, in my opinion, there for Zania Stewart.
Somebody clip up the slide. Bush out to Carr. Again late in the shot clock. Couple. Thompson gets it away in time and knocks it down.
Wow, they used every single millisecond of that shot clock, but nice finish there, and jump shot from Thompson.
Rita Warner kicks the back for North, long 2. Just rims out. Carr is able to come away with it. As Bush to her left, goes to the right. 2 London players trying to keep that in bounds, but it'll be a Sevenoaks possession.
So it's been hard for Kat Carr to sometimes capitalise on the pushing into the basketball, the offensive transition, just because it's being guarded by such longer defenders. And Leadham Warner and Winterburn, and Joseph was in and around the rim there as well.
Cole. Just a bit short on that one. Beckford Norton. Oh, blocked by Wirtz. And that will be an end-line ball to London.
Frankie Wirtz doing a little bit of everything today. Good hands. She kind of got Beckford Norton before she was fully elevated as well. Smart play.
And a really important momentum play as well. You know, she wasn't allowing that. She wasn't going to do that, and that hopefully sets her team off on a little run.
Joseph is fouled by Thompson.
Thompson just bit on that pump fake there.
It's her third foul.
Beckford Norton. Leadham Warner, good first step, drops it off. Stewart trying to clean it up. Foul is called. I think he pointed to the floor there. So it'll be an end-line ball. It's the number 4 that's been shown to the table.
That's what's so difficult to stop there when you got Joseph and Stewart inside. Just the size difference there in strength and experience. Really difficult to combat that. They've done a really good job up to now of not giving away those easy putbacks inside.
Brain misses everything.
I think the other thing as well with those two players, they're both, you know, very high basketball IQ players. They take their time, they survey a situation, and they're really smart.
Monacana for 3. Leonard pulls in the rebound. Nice pass. That's a beautiful assist to Stewart from Leonard.
Well, you don't average 8 assists a game without showing a little bit of magic here and there, and that was beautiful vision to see a cut-in. Isaiah Stewart for the easy finish.
Beckford Norton get back up off the floor so quick. And Copper knocks down the shot.
It's a nice player like that, Cathcart creating, and Capel stepping into that jump shot, look pure.
Three-point shot is short. Sevenoaks hanging about here late in the third.
Probably not really the shot you want out of that possession.
No. Down, but only down by 9. On a corner, steps underneath and hits the shot.
She's such a gamer, isn't she? She's got a little bit of a disruption here with that technical foul, having to sit some extended minutes on the bench. She comes in there, nice pump fake, pull-up jump shot.
Breen. There's a foul there on Joseph, trying to get after the rebound.
Doing a good job on just staying attached to Cassie Breen. She's got such a quick catch and shoot release. They're giving her no time and no space to get it off.
Well, as the ball is in the air, nobody in possession, so therefore that foul being the 5th of the quarter means it'll be 2 free throws for the Sevenoaks Suns. Well, this goes in, 5-point game, 6-point game. If you'd given Len 6 points at the end of the third, I think he would have took it at the start of the game.
I think you're right, Dan. Still within striking distance here.
Beckford Norton kicks out, but kicks out of bounds, so the Suns can get it even closer here.
Yeah, and I think, the start of the fourth is just so important. If they can continue with the momentum that they have now, you just don't know. London haven't been in that position.
Oh, great quick play, but Monacana can't finish. There's time here. Leonard from the half court doesn't go. Well, this one is very much in the balance still with 10 minutes to go. Everybody assumed London would be clear by now. They are ahead, but only just. This one will be decided in the last minutes here at the O2 Arena. It is Lions 44, Suns 38 at the end of 3. Welcome back to the O2 Arena. It is the WBBL playoff final. It is the top two teams in the country. Number one leads number two by 44 points to 38. Breen is blocked by Monacana, but it falls straight to Umo. And she gets her points in the end.
She did well to keep her composure there after she got blocked on that first one. Nice little floater in the lane.
Monacana for three. Rebound Leonard. Beckford Norton. In the corner, Leonard, but she stepped on the line.
Well, ran out of room there on the court. Sevenoaks Suns were thankful to hear that whistle go because Kennedy Leonard looked really comfortable with that looking corner ball.
His call. Can't convert.
That's what you want as well. You'd want a shot in and around the rim. She just wasn't able to convert. Uncharacteristic miss from Stephanie Ume, someone who shoots remarkably high efficiency, over 60% ordinarily. Wasn't able to convert on that occasion.
She struggled today. She had a couple of them.
Great help from Kennedy Leonard to come across and knock that ball loose, and the foul is called on Koppel as a result. That's her third, I believe. No, second. No, third, I was right. They grabbed the wrong paddle. Bush and Watkins return to the game. 8:28 to go. Beckford Norton is bumped and will go to the free throw line for 2.
She has been an absolute problem to guard, hasn't she? Even on that occasion, she kind of surveyed the situation there, pulled the ball out, and then just attacked. The only way to stop her in that situation is to foul.
Yeah, and I think she, again, just like Joe, we were saying earlier, she's such a competitor. In the last defensive play, she felt like she drew an offensive foul and it wasn't called. And you can tell, like, she's just holding on to those things. And, you know, it fires her up. It fires her up to do something good on the other end.
Well, she leads all scorers, and 14 points personal for her, and she has been that bright spark for the London Lions today.
Stretches the lead back into double figures. Thompson gets it to Works. Under great pressure from Breen. Beckford Norton, a little stop and go, attacks the rim again. Great rebound from Stewart. Extra pass on to Leonard. Kennedy Leonard for 3.
And that is it in a nutshell, isn't it? You've got Joe Leader-Warner, one of the best players ever, if not best player ever to come out of Britain. Passes down a semi-open shot to kick it to somebody else for the 3.
This team has been like that all season, though. They're always looking for great shots, not just good shots, and starts with that big offensive rebound from Azania Stewart.
That's going to be an unsportsmanlike on Wirtz for the foul in transition. So it'll be 2 shots and possession for London.
Well, we've seen the Suns now ride these waves of pressure and adversity. Can they do it one more time? Because this time is against them. 7 minutes left.
It is, and I feel like they didn't make the most of the last wave. I think, you know, there was a good minute and a half that they could have capitalized on, and they didn't do it in the third.
Leonard stretches the lead now to 15. It is a 9-0 start to the fourth quarter for Mark Clark's side. What can Len Bush and his team do in response? Lena Warner has it knocked away, keeps possession though. Beckford Norton on the shot clock buzzer. It's a great box out by Watkins to keep Stewart off the glass. Offensive foul is called on Carr, knocking Beckford Norton to the floor.
They struggle to get the hands of they struggle to get the ball in the hands of Kat Carr, especially in this fourth quarter. Still yet to score. 9-0 to London Lions in this fourth.
Breen in the corner, misses everything, but Thompson just can't quite get her hands on it.
If it's possible, I feel like she's rushing. I don't know if that is possible for Breen because she just shoots so quickly naturally, but it just seems like she's just rushing her shots a little bit today.
Warner for 3. She didn't play much in the first half, Cassie Breen. sometimes when you get your moment, you want to take it. Maybe that's something to do with it. Crowded out is Thompson, but it'll be a Suns ball.
Thompson did a good job just to get a hand on that one. It was a tough situation to be in there. She was sandwiched in between two defenders.
Push blocked by Stewart. Thompson's going to have to shoot the three. Well, not too far away, but 4 minutes have passed in the fourth quarter, and Sevenoaks still haven't scored. Leonard for three, knocks it down.
Kennedy Leonard heating up, and that's not a sign you want to see when you're on the Suns camp. 10 points personal for her now.
It's a 12-0 run here at the start of the fourth quarter, as London put the squeeze on and just offer the Suns no way through to the basket. Leonard again, back-to-back threes from Kennedy Leonard. She salutes the crowd, and London's lead is out to 21.
I'm so pleased for Kennedy Leonard because she is such a good player offensively herself. She has no problem at all in allowing everybody else around her to shine, and she's facilitated so much for other players on her team all season long, and I feel like she deserves this moment for herself.
Oh, the warrior is well in her. I mean, she's doing it with her face mask on, and you can visibly see that, you know, there's been some damage there to her face and hasn't affected her performance. 13 points and 7 assists.
Well, this is the first of two finals here today at the O2 Arena. You can see inside the locker room there, the Leicester Riders getting themselves ready and set. So too the London Lions men's team, as they will go head-to-head. Tip-off for that one, 4:15 on Sky Sports Arena. Make sure you stay with us for that. But it is the London Lions women's team who are well on course for victory here in the playoff final. 15 points to 0 in the fourth quarter.
Well, you've got to score the basketball, Dan.
Yep.
And as hard as they've played, and as good as they've made things difficult for the London Lions, that's only one part of the strategy executed. You've got to be able to score the ball, and especially against a team such as London Lions, they're not going to go scoreless in quarters. Even if they led us to believe it was going to be a tough offensive day for them in the first quarter after scoring only 7 points, they've since rallied on and been able to consistently put on the score sheet.
Well, 5 minutes ago in the WBBL playoff final, we have every single playoff MVP in WBBL history on the court at the moment. Can't happen too often. And that's going to be a foul on Leonard. Kat Carr won the first couple of MVPs. Shanice Beckford-Norton won last year, of course, and Janice Monacana was the 2019 playoff final MVP. Carr to Thompson. Rebound Winter. Burn. Leonard calls Lead and Warner forward. Inside and back out to Beckford-Norton. Monacana for three. Still they can't score.
Just no consistency there on that, or fluidity on the offensive end there, and they're going to need a big push here now. 5 minutes left. You can see the despair now. The Suns trying to make something happen.
Leonard heaves one up on the shot clock, but it did nearly go in. inside to Monacana, trying to force her way through, and somehow does.
That's so difficult to do. She's in between two defenders. She doesn't even need a dribble. She just steps through, powers that through. Really good finish from Monacana. 11 points personal.
Well, we talked about this being her last game. It won't be the result that she wants, but she certainly left it all out there on the floor.
Leading their team in scoring today. And that's what the Suns have got today. They've got, players step up and contribute. You've got Frankie Wirtz with 10, Monacana 11, Kat Carr 9. We did say that other players were going to have to step up there and contribute. They just needed perhaps one more, like a Rennie Bush, but London Lions do a really good job of guarding her. They just don't give her any easy looks, and
she's a phenomenal three-point shooter. She's barely had any look at the basket from there. They've forced her to put it on the floor and attack the basket, crowded her out when she's done that, just like that. Charles for three, and London piling on the agony for Sevenoaks.
You see what they do there? They push the basketball and they move the ball so quickly. There's no hesitation. Nice extra pass there from Azania Stewart. Sancho Charles knocks it down.
Monacana gets two back.
She has all 4 points in the fourth quarter for the Suns.
Nice pass, and the finish from Winterburn. Leadham Warner with the assist.
This is where you start to see the London Lions having fun now, and that's a dangerous thing, because when things are flowing, this machine is really, really difficult to slow down.
Well, they're 2.5 minutes away from perfection. Koffel will return for Thompson. On a corner again, trying to squeeze a little room for herself. Suns ball from the end. Nice pass to find Wirtz underneath.
That's a really good timely cut too from Wirtz, who dropped below that baseline and was able to catch and finish a very nice reverse layup too.
Winterburn drives hard, takes the contact, and she'll go to the line.
She is such a difficult cover. Holly Winterburn, when she gets in those danger areas, because she's so long and she's quick, she can create whatever she wants in there.
She kind of sways from side to side as well, which gets the defender rocking one way, and she's very good at coming back the other.
For the most part too, she always looks in control.
Well, needed a friendly bounce, but certainly got it. 12 points and 7 rebounds, 3 assists, couple of steals as well. Good stat line for Holly Winterburn. It's one of them games where it's going to be hard to pick an MVP. There's 4 or 5 players out there who've played their part in what will be this victory.
Yeah, I agree. And it's been in segments of this game. I don't think we can forget what Shanice Beckford-Norton did early on, though, and the impact she's had throughout. But you're right, Dan, there's been players that have went on their little runs, and Kennedy Leonard knocking down some shots, and Leadham Warner coming out, if you remember from after half-time. She really put a foothold on this game also, and Azania Stewart doing what Azania Stewart does, just being efficient, smart, and just killing her opposition with that smile of hers.
Double-double for her, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Leonard. Oh, what a play that is. What a play. The tip down from Charles to Leadham Warner.
That is very, very clever and smart. And the way she did that, too, didn't need to catch it and bring it in, which may waste more time. And there we see Lena Warner now leaving the court. It's an MVP caliber performance from her again today.
Tremendous performance and hugs all round as she leaves the court for the final time. Foul call off the ball. Beckford Norton gets back to her feet and looks bemused, I think is probably the best way of putting it, that she's been called for a foul. Bush. You can see how hard it was to get some sort of vague look there for Renee Bush. And that has been the story of the game. The story of the season, really. London, we talk all about their offensive firepower, but this is a team that's committed to playing defense, committed to playing all the way through from tip to buzzer. They almost ignore the score the way they play. I think somebody's just got a technical of all of that. Holly Winterburn got called for a charge. She didn't agree with it. She pointed up to the big screen and went, look at that though. She got a technical in there. And Kennedy Leonard get her moment for an evasion and a hug from her coach as she sits down. Well, the technical means that Carr's going to shoot a free throw. And then we'll go back to where the possession was. There is Leonard. A incredible shiner on her face underneath that mask, but didn't seem to affect her too much out there. She gave a pretty typical Kennedy Leonard performance. Knocked down some shots, found her teammates, 4 steals as well.
Janice Monacana leaves the court now as well. Last time we'll see her, she's decided to retire. A great career British players had.
You used the word gamer earlier, which I think is a very appropriate one for Janice Monacana. It's going to be a shot clock violation here, is it? Yes, it is. And the London Lions need only to inbound the ball and dribble out time here. Well, they came in search of perfection, and they have found perfection. They have completed the season, they've won every trophy, and they have been undefeated in doing it. What a team the London Lions are and have been over the course of this year. Without doubt, the class of the WBBL. And from pre-season to right now, they have been the best. They are the best.
That's exactly what they are, Dan. And you win the cup, there's a target on your back. You win the trophy, there's a bigger target on your back. You have a perfect league season play, the target's on your back. And on the final game of the season, center stage, they do it again. And it's the consistency in the way they do it. I think that's the biggest respect I think we can all have for this team. Is it's not just their winning, it's the way they go about it. They do it together. You commented, who's going to be MVP? It's a perfect example of how this team has conducted themselves throughout the whole year. They give up good shots for great shots, and they put the team before our eye.
Well, they have done a lot of celebrating over the course of the season, and I'm sure they will enjoy tonight. They will have set the target. They didn't really verbalise it out loud, but they would have set that target at the beginning of the year. Okay, we know we've got a good team. We want to progress in Europe. They did that. And we want to show that we are the best team domestically. And they probably thought, well, we can win every game, and we are going to win every game. And they've delivered on that.
They have, and again, it's been their discipline. They averaged a winning margin of 40 plus points in domestic play. That's so hard to do. It's so hard to do when you travel 3 hours to go and play bottom of the league. It's really easy to clock out mentally, to show arrogance and just know you're going to win. They didn't do that. Every week they put in a performance and set the tone here. This team, I think, that we've just witnessed is going to be extremely, extremely difficult to match now for generations to come.
And a word for the Sevenoaks Suns. In any other season, they would have been, you know, a remarkable squad, a remarkable team. They would have had medals to show for their efforts for this year. They just came up against a better team this year.
Agreed, Dan. It's like the passing of the torch. You know, this was a team that made 3 WBBL playoff finals in a row. Probably would have been 4 had it not been for the interrupted COVID season. And it's only now we're starting to see a switch, but then they were 21-3 in league play. A remarkable record, and you're right. Any other season, if they don't run into the London Lions, they're the ones we're talking about. Oh, maybe they do the quadruple or the triple.
Well, the two teams lined up out on court, and we have the presentation party come out ready to present the medals.
This year's runners-up, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Sevenoaks Suns.
First up will be the Sevenoaks Suns, who get a good ovation from there's about 11,000 people in at the moment. Here, Frankie Wirtz worked tremendously hard, 12 points and 9 rebounds for her is first up.
I thought she was excellent today. They needed someone else to step up, and Frankie Wirtz made the call. 12 points personal for her, and she was just immense from start to finish.
WBBL chairman Jim Saker doing the honours of handing out the medals.
Assisted by Kabil Kumar. Ladies and gentlemen,
I think Janice Monicano as well can be proud of not only today but her career. Look, it's not the way you want to go out, and you know, when you retire from basketball you don't get to write that script, but I thought she showed heart, and she showed us, you know, the type of player she is, top scoring with 13 points.
And coach Len Bush goes up and takes his memento, and he knew his side had their work cut out for them today, and unfortunately in the end it just ran out. We talked at the beginning, it can't be 35, 36 minutes. They were there for about 30, and then it just went away in the fourth. Now the London Lions will get their moment to enjoy. They've got their winners' caps on already. They've not gone up in numerical order. They're throwing it all out of sync here.
That pains you, doesn't it? A guy like you and your numbers and your order, that absolutely pains you.
I think they have. They just didn't start with Beckford Norton because she's the captain last. But, I mean, it's hard. You want to talk about all of them, really, because they've all done a little bit of something, not just today, but over the course of the season.
And it's those players, too, that, you know, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th man on the team, and, you know, they're the ones that have sacrificed as well, whatever that be, minutes, shots, or whatever. They've bought into what Coach Mark Clark's trying to achieve here, and they've surpassed that. You know, this is the quadruple. This is a team now that we'll talk about now for years and years to come.
Oh, Mark Clark rocking the hat and suit. I don't see that very often, but he's doing it well. And, well, he's a guy, he sets the tone as well. That whole thing you talked about, where it didn't matter what the score was, didn't matter who they were playing. If they weren't on it, time out into them.
Agreed, and that's how you achieve perfection. You know, I mean, because that's what they are this year, right? And they all come to they've won it, and that's very similar to we'll see the next coach, Rob Paternoster. It's that strive for perfection. So even if your team's up by 20 and they're not playing well, he knows that the bad habits can sink into the next game. And Coach Mark Clark has been has put in a perfect performance from himself this year.
So, today's MVP. Oh, she looks a little surprised. But in there, underneath, Kennedy Leonard, the most valuable player of the playoff final, And she's got a black eye in her MVP photo.
The black eye will heal in time, but those pictures, Dan, those pictures will always show that shiner under her eye with that shiny basketball in her hand. But what a warrior she was today. Did not faze her. She excelled.
Their trophy, please, let's hear it for the captain of the London Lions, number 3, Shanice
the moment
Beckford
the team will come up
Norton.
behind the board, and their captain, Shanice Beckford Norton, just as they did last year, will come forward and she will smile for the phalanx of photographers over on the sideline to receive that trophy and hand it aloft. The Lions are ready for the celebrations. Your 2022 WBBL playoff champions, the London Lions. The fire shoots into the air at the O2 here. It is very warm as well, as we're right behind that. But these are the moments you play for, as you say. The playoff final, special in that it's that last game. You go off into the summer. You don't know. Maybe the whole unit doesn't come back next year. You spent months and months with these players, and now you get this moment to enjoy.
Well, this London Lions team as well, Dan, they could recruit more talent next year, but it might not be as effective as this team this year. So you're right, this could be, London Lions could be a powerhouse now for the next decade, but this team could be one that's special. All what they've achieved this year. So that's why this game, I think, is so momentum, and there'll be a sense of relief too for a lot of these girls, because they were the favorites, the bigger big dog, right? They don't win this game, there's a smudge on their record.
Well, again, they will pose, and they have been, without doubt, the #1 team this season, one of the great teams of all time in women's British basketball. The London Lions have completed the set. They have been perfect for the season, and they have won everything.
A stunning performance from the London Lions, a fitting end to their brilliant season, unbeaten domestically, a clean sweep of all the titles on offer. And Siobhan, is this testament to the champion nature of this team? They started badly by their standards, by many teams' standards, and yet they ended the game so strongly. They found different leaders to dig deep to drive them forwards, and in the end, we're looking at a 25-point margin.
I think it is testament to that, and I think, to be honest, though, it's testament to the team that Mark Clark's managed to compile. Like you just said there, it was different people at different points, and that's what got them over the line in the end. There's just too many weapons.
Kieran, do you think 25 points is a fair reflection of the game we've just seen, given how hard the Suns battled for so long?
They played a great game, and that just shows you how deep the London Lions are. They just wore them down. That fourth quarter, they never had enough in the tank, and it was a great fight. But that's the only way they were going to win this game today was to play the way they did. It's just unfortunate that the Lions could endure that and take it to into the fourth.
As Siobhan said, a number of big performances from across the London Lions today. But the MVP was Kennedy Leonard. She was brilliant, and she's courtside now with Mike.
Congrats, Kennedy, the MVP of the game. Looking like an absolute warrior out there.
I can't hear you.
Congrats, Kennedy.
Yeah, okay.
Looking like an absolute warrior out there. You got a beautiful shiner on your face. How did you get that one?
In practice on Thursday, just Leah came across with an elbow, and I broke my nose and deviated my septum. But I wanted to play, so doctors told me not to play, but I thought I could play with a mask, and it seemed to work okay.
Yeah, it definitely did work. And let's shift our focus to the game now. An even but a slow start to the game. What did you attest that to?
I think just the atmosphere. Obviously, when we play regular league games, it's not as crowded. There's not as much going on. So then when you get an atmosphere like this, it takes a while to get adjusted. But we've been in big situations before, so we just kind of turned on. We knew we were a third-quarter team and that we would come alive in the second half.
And you really did come alive in the second half. And looking at that fourth quarter, the nail was really put in the coffin. You really locked them up at the beginning of that quarter. What did you attest to that?
I think we just wanted to complete the sweep. No team's ever done 4, and why go through all this work to not get it done? So I think that was just it.
Kennedy, congrats. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Excellent all-round performance from Kennedy Leonard. 13 points, 7 assists, 5 defensive boards, 4 steals as well. And Siobhan in particular, playing through an injury, a facial injury, that she had to wear that mask. Obviously, it's going to affect somebody going into a game of this magnitude, but she didn't seem to demonstrate that at all, particularly in the second half, just got more and more into the game.
Yeah, she did. And I think, I don't even think we really need to talk about the broken nose. We can clearly see she's a warrior. Like, she's a tough, tough woman. But I just think she has taken a back seat a little bit all throughout the season, and she's been happy to facilitate to the magnificent talent around her. And I think I'm just really pleased that she got her time to shine in the playoff final today.
It was testament to her role within this team and indeed the spirit in this Lions camp when she was announced as MVP, the reaction amongst her teammates.
It just shows you, she's such a lovable character. She's so humble. She's all about team. But tonight she got off to quite a slow start. And I was looking at the stats, and she still had 5 assists. She wasn't shooting the ball particularly well, but she still found a way to contribute. And that's the thing. She's happy to take that back seat, like everyone else in that team. There's not one player in that team who wants the limelight all the time. It's all about the team first mentality, and I'm so happy for Kennedy.
And that is credit to their head coach, Mark Clark, the spirit he's built, the mindset he's built inside his champion Lions side. He's courtside now with Mike.
Coach Mark, progression in Europe, dominated the domestic scene, and now the clean sweep. A perfect ending to a perfect season. Talk us through your emotions right now.
You can only have perfect seasons when you got like some perfect people and you got some great individuals. And when they give it up for the team, then we can achieve what we've achieved. You had some great leadership, with Joe and Z and Ken and Shanice was just outstanding today. When we were flat, Shanice really lifted us in the first half. And, it was it's a different MVP for us, which sums us up.
Yeah, and a bit of a delay of game and a slow start. Do you think that affected the team?
Yeah, I think so. You don't want to make the excuse for it. You got to give Sevenoaks some credit. They came out, tried to slow us down, but at the end of the day, yeah, we were. I don't know how long we were trying to get ready for.
And we were having a hard time figuring out who the MVP was going to be between Stewart and Leonard and even Shanice Beckford-Norton. A quick word on all their performances today.
Well, that sums up us because, one time it's Joe, one time it's Ken, one time it's Shanice. And I think like Azania, we've built the defense from the inside out, and she's been the person we've beat it around. She's probably as good as any defender on the perimeter for us. But Ken, broken nose on Thursday, MVP on Sunday. Tells you everything about Kennedy Leonard.
Definitely. A truly special group here, arguably the greatest team that we've seen in the WBBL. Looking forward now, will we see yourself and a number of these women back with the Lions?
I think the only way that programs can build is they have some continuity. And if we're going to add, which we're going to add, because we want to be successful in Europe and we want to be successful in here. So the core of this team is going to be back because that's what we're building on. Then we'll add some quality for next year, maybe give Z some help on the inside. But the thing is, we've got to find a way to replace one of the legends of British basketball in Joe Leadham. I mean, if that Joe Leadham gets a chance to play in the UK before she finishes her pro career, I mean, we've only come a short way to trying to reflect how good Joe Leadham is.
Coach, congratulations on an amazing season. Go enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Has been an amazing season. Final word, Siobhan, goes to you on the inspiration that this Lions side is providing. We talked about it at the top. They've now completed the clean sweep. What's the ceiling for this team? Where do you feel it can go from here?
I mean, like Coach just said, it can go anywhere from here, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like. I think it's really important. They've got great young players, they've got great veterans, and I think every person watching today can see themselves on the court, and I think that's what's so inspirational.
And Joe Leadham, as Coach Mark Clark referenced, such a brilliant part of her storied career, and there's so many fans in the building today who are going to be inspired by her in this Lions side.
I'm just so thankful we got to see her here. She is a phenomenal player, phenomenal person, and she's just been a joy to be around.
Brilliant stuff from the London Lions. Brilliant stuff from you, Siobhan Fryer. Always a pleasure hanging with you and learning about the game, as I'm sure you found at home as well. So that is the first one down, but there is one more to go. The London Lions have taken care of business in the WBBL playoff final. But what about the men? They go up next looking for their first silverware of the season against the champs, the Leicester Riders. Build up to the BBL playoff final is coming next.
Brando fires up the three and knocks it down. Lobs up the alley-oop!